at 107.9 HD2 FM. Here comes Portia. I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Here we go at 1 o'clock on this Thursday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News Live. I'm Tyler Finger, and I'm so glad you're here. This is an interactive news conversation, so we're going to be taking you through the news and the top headlines, talk about the weather over the next hour. But if you have any questions, join us in the comments on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We'll try to get your questions answered. If you have a comment about something we're talking about, put it down there in the chat. We would love to hear from you. Let's talk about the first story we're following, and this one is out of Henry County. As I switch our graphic here to talk about a tractor trailer versus train crash that happened a little earlier today. Here's what we know. Police are telling us there was a crash between a train and an 18-wheeler, and you can see the aftermath. Skyfox 5 flew over the scene there. You can see it looks like that 18-wheeler kind of was definitely pushed after being hit at that railroad crossing. Right now the roads are still closed, and we're still waiting for more information from officials. And let's tell you about this one. Let's take you to New York City now, where we are learning some new details about the case against Luigi Mangione. He's the man accused of killing UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The New York Times is reporting right now that Mangione is expected to plead guilty in federal court, and that report comes one day before Mangione is scheduled to appear before a judge to face stalking charges. The federal stalking case is separate from charges of murder, weapons, and forgery brought by the Manhattan District Attorney. Mangione has already pleaded not guilty in that case. The last-minute hearing was requested by both federal prosecutors and Mangione's defense team, fueling speculation about a possible deal that could avoid a federal trial. Mangione is also facing a separate New York State murder trial, with jury selection expected to begin in the coming weeks. His attorneys have raised double jeopardy concerns over the two cases, an issue that could play a role in what happens next. And right now, a nationwide manhunt is underway for a trio. Let's show you some video that has been released. I want to tell you about this case because this is absolutely wild. So right now, a trio, these people right here, are accused of stealing from cemeteries, stealing jewelry, heirlooms from graves across several states, including right here in Georgia. Investigators say the three are from Indianapolis and are accused of targeting cemeteries in Florida, Oklahoma, New York, Texas, and the Peach State. The Orange County, Florida Sheriff's Office, which is in the Orlando area, identified the suspects as Drake Malam, Porsche Bancroft, and Angela Garrett. Investigators said the suspects targeted some cremated remains. They took jewelry and other keepsakes that families had placed alongside their loved ones. Surveillance cameras captured some of the thefts, and detectives believe additional families may have been affected without realizing their loved ones' burial sites were disturbed. So if you know anything, you are obviously asked to call investigators. The Orange County Sheriff's Office in Florida would love to hear from you. We're monitoring a lot of different breaking stories that are happening right now in the Atlanta area. We have a team of reporters out right now working for you. Let's check in with our assignment manager, Tanya Mendoza, for some of those stories. Tanya, what can you tell us?
Hey, Tyler. Yeah, let me update you real quick on a story we were working on overnight. I believe Kim Leffler was on this, and just before 7:30 this morning, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office confirmed deputies located and apprehended the inmate who they had identified as Demetrius Burke, who somehow got out of the Fulton County Jail. Let's take a look. Here's some mugshot. And then we did have two pictures. One they sent over earlier, which was with a deputy who had arrested him, and then the mugshot you just saw. But the inmate escaped from the Fulton County Jail, and they confirmed that he was located, apprehended, and that the investigation is ongoing and no additional details will be provided. I think the big question we all want to know is, how did he get out of the jail? Yeah. So that in their statement was left unanswered. So hopefully at some point the sheriff decides to release that information. Ideally, if they had any of that surveillance video that they could share with us, that would be great too. But right now we don't have any of that, so we're still waiting to hear if they give us an update throughout the day. Our crews were over by the jail when this all happened, and they had, you can see all the search teams and everybody out there looking for the inmate, but they did get him, and now we'll just see if we have any more answers to those questions that we all have. Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, obviously lots of questions come to mind. As you said, we don't know how this person got out. He was supposedly in custody, but somehow, apparently, walked out some way outside of the Fulton County Jail, obviously the infamous Rice Street Jail. We know that the sheriff has lots of issues with that facility and he wants to rebuild it and have something brand new. We know that county leaders are looking to refurbish it. And so obviously the big question is, how did he get out? And hopefully we can get those details from the Fulton County Sheriff himself so that people watching right now can understand what exactly happened overnight.
Exactly. And our producers did do a little research and found that he had several arrests dating back to 2014. His most recent arrest was on Tuesday for felony theft by taking, and he actually had just been released from jail just 5 days earlier after getting arrested on another felony theft charge as well as trespassing charges. So Demetrius Burks had an extensive criminal history, and somehow he got out. So hopefully we'll get those answers and update you on that later today. Tyler?
Yeah, we'll keep watching.
Let me tell you about a big story that's happening right now. Angelique Proctor is over at the MARTA Board of Directors meeting, and they're going to be announcing who their new CEO is. So we will be listening to the meeting, and I think Marcy, you're the streaming producer right now, she is going to take some of that live throughout this show, because at 1:30 is when the actual board is going to have the full meeting. Before, they were having a work session. Right now on the screen you have the 3 pictures of the finalists. So let me look at my computer here so I can cheat a little and give you their names. So there's Leroy Jones. He is the CEO of the Metro in Washington, D.C., which is a large and proven system. Jonathan Hunt is an interim CEO of MARTA. He is the interim CEO right now. And also Cleveland Ferguson III, he's part of the Transit Authority in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, we did get a soundbite. We did interview Thomas Worthy, councilman for the city of Atlanta, who was also on the MARTA board for about 9 years. Let's listen into what he has to say about what's happening today.
The city is the largest stakeholder. I think that some of the mayor's criticisms are absolutely warranted, and I think a lot of the mayor's criticisms have been addressed. And I think it's very important for the next CEO to continue to work very closely with the mayor, the city council, and heal that relationship between the city of Atlanta and MARTA.
All right, Tyler. So that big decision will be happening in about 30 minutes, and we will keep you posted on that. MARTA's going to be making a huge decision.
Yeah, and right now we are monitoring that meeting that is going on right now. We know that they're in executive session, so we'll continue to keep our eye on it and bring any updates that has to do with this big decision, as you mentioned, to find out who will be leading the Atlanta Transit Agency. Obviously, there's lots of interest in this, knowing that we have seen over the last couple of months some crime before the World Cup. They've also had a massive implementation of their brand new fare cards and fare gates. And things like that. So there's a lot of things happening at MARTA right now. So that is something we'll be keeping everyone up to date on.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. They've had their ups and downs, with all the crime. And then, during the World Cup, it seemed like everything went off great. I mean, it seemed really great. Security was great. There was not many complaints. So this is a big day for them. And hopefully we'll get some reaction from the mayor as well, who in the past has been critical of MARTA. But we will have an update later with Angelique and on this show. I do want to mention real quick this story that Doug's working on. He talked about it in the morning meeting, and I was just horrified when we were all listening to his story pitch. But basically, over in Coweta County, deputies arrested 2 men in connection to some sort of animal tied him up and put it in a plastic bag, and then left it out in the woods to die. It sounds like a juvenile may have called police and reported this, but the description I was just reading said that the dog was tied up, put in a bag, thrown in a grocery cart, and rolled off, and then left in the woods. And the dog was trying to get out. Good news is the deputies were able to rescue the dog. 2 men, you see their mugshots right there, Alan Michael Thompson and Jacob Robert Burke, were arrested in connection to to this, Doug will have more on what their exact charges are and what happened, and an update on the dog. Tyler?
Yeah, absolutely heartbreaking situation, and the details are certainly disturbing. So we'll be waiting for that update from Doug. He'll be joining us a little bit later here on Fox 5 News Live. Tony Mendoza, thanks so much for the update on the stories we're working on, and we'll keep everyone up to date on that MARTA announcement where they're going to be selecting the new transit leader. Let's get you caught up on some of the other headlines we're following right now and take you to DeKalb County, where there is a homicide investigation underway right now. So let me just tell you about what happened overnight. There was a series of deadly shootings in DeKalb County. So one happened on Park Lorraine around 11:13 last night. A man was found shot multiple times inside a home at the Fontaine East condominiums. He died on the scene. Investigators are examining evidence to determine what happened before the shooting. So far, no arrests have been made. And let's take you to a different part of town, just a few minutes away from where this happened, or I believe just about 10 minutes or so before this happened. A man was shot and killed in the parking lot on North Hairston Road. Investigators are working to determine what led up to the shooting. In this case, no arrests have been made on North Hairston Road for that deadly shooting. And as we come back into the newsroom, I want to talk about something else that happened early this morning around 7 a.m. We got an alert out of the world's busiest airport. Let's see if we can take you live there right now. You're looking live at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport this morning. A Delta Airlines flight to South Florida was forced to return to the airport just minutes after takeoff. After, get this, the captain reported smoke in the cockpit. I want you to take a listen to what air traffic control told first responders as they rushed to the plane as that Airbus A321 came in for an emergency landing.
Aircraft call sign is Delta 1334. It's an Airbus 321. Report of smoke in cockpit. Will be landing runway 27 right. 17,000 pounds of fuel. 181 souls on board.
So yeah, 181 people on board. That included several crew members, including 2 up front in the cockpit and obviously several flight attendants. So that plane took off and immediately came back for an emergency landing. Looking at flight radar, you actually saw it take off on the south runway and do a circle around the airport to come right back in for a landing. So a Delta spokesperson confirmed that the plane landed without any problems after crew members detected a smoky odor on board that Delta flight. And the spokesperson stated that the flight crew did exactly what they're supposed to do. So when they sensed something like this, they immediately declared an emergency, told air traffic control their intention to return to the airport, make that emergency landing so they can get everyone back on the ground safely. Officials have not yet confirmed exactly what caused that smoky odor on the inside the cockpit, but obviously they are investigating. And I do want to point out that the plane did taxi under its own power to a gate so that they could reaccommodate those passengers. And let's see if we can take another live look outside over Atlanta on this Thursday afternoon. You can see some gray clouds there and lots of clouds over the Atlanta skyline. And I want to see if we can bring in our Lauren Robinson, Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Lauren Robinson, to talk about what we are seeing for the forecast for the rest of the day today. Definitely extremely hot and humid out there.
Yeah.
I saw the web story that we put up this morning. We could see heat indices in the triple digits.
Yeah, well, we've already been seeing them for the last couple of days, and today it's worse than what we saw yesterday, and it's going to get even worse as we push into the weekend. So first,
they are good news.
Yeah, right, great. Let's go ahead and start with those heat indices that you were talking about. We first start with our temperatures. We're mostly in the 90s across North Georgia, but don't let that fool you. We're at 93 degrees in downtown Atlanta. Same goes for over in Rome as well as out in Eatonton. We are still in the 80s in some areas, but it feels a lot hotter than that. So here are those heat indices Tyler was talking about, because once you factor in that humidity, we're having a lot of heat and humidity coming from the Gulf. It feels like 104 in downtown Atlanta right now. Yikes. It feels like 104 in Rome. It feels like 100s down in LaGrange and Thomaston. It feels like 106 in Covington and in Eatonton. And we're only at 114 in the afternoon. So it's still going to get a bit warmer as we move through the next few hours. So this is where we say it's dangerously hot out there. Now, We do have counties off to the east under heat advisories. Not the entirety of North Georgia is under a heat advisory, but please don't let that fool you or lure you into a false sense of security, because it's still dangerously hot out there. If there's not a heat advisory in your area, you still want to make sure that you're paying attention to these triple-digit heat indices. So as far as the actual heat advisories, that's going to be the same areas as what we saw yesterday, off to the east and south, where we're seeing those feels like temperatures up to around 108 degrees. But of course, it feels like that all across the area. So I think over the next few days, the National Weather Service will likely expand that heat advisory to include all of North Georgia, maybe excluding the high country in Blairsville. That's probably about it. But let's go ahead and take a look at our live Viper radar here. We've had a couple of very isolated storms in the last hour that I want to just zoom in. So I'm going to kind of take the reins here and handle this manually so we can see these storms are becoming a bit more scattered. They were more isolated in the last hour, but we're seeing more and more start to pop up, and that does include around Metro Atlanta. So I'm going to pause this time frame here a bit so we can see we do have one that's just popped up. This is going to be just west of Atlantic Station here. We also have a larger line of storms roughly from Sugar Hill all the way down through Stonecrest. With it, we're seeing some lightning and thunder, heavy downpours, some gusty winds. That's going to continue to move its way toward the east, and we're just seeing them really sprinkled about North Georgia. So they're coming in from the west and southwest and moving their way toward the east. This is where we're just going to see those hit or miss storms through the rest of the afternoon. I put this back in motion so you can see really the direction that some of these storms are moving in, but that's really what we're going to continue to expect. So if you don't have a storm overhead right now, that doesn't mean that you won't see one. So we will continue to watch for those chances over the next through the rest of the afternoon and into this evening. Now we take a look at our 7-day forecast, and while we continue to see these brief hit or miss storms over the next several days, that's thanks to that Gulf moisture. We're also seeing some heat push in from the Gulf, and that's where those temperatures are continuing to increase. Upper 90s by this weekend into early next week. And remember, once you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel well into the triple digits for the foreseeable future, really, with this heat stretch that's really taken over.
Yeah, just feels absolutely fantastic out there.
It's giving June in the middle of August, and you know that's just what Mother Nature is dealing us here in Georgia.
Yeah. Lauren, stick with me. You like to travel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Oh, this feels like a trick question.
Oh no, this is a good question.
I've walked myself into a trap.
Okay. Yeah, because you have to stay with me just a slight bit longer. So
right.
Coming up, you should stick around and listen to this. We're about to talk to a UGA researcher who did a study about basically why people travel and how social media plays a role.
Oh, okay. I think I know where this is going.
So we're going to have that story coming up.
All right.
And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live, approaching 1:20 on this Thursday afternoon. So we kind of talked about this before the break. We're talking about travel and essentially social media, how that plays a role. So are you picking your next vacation and where you're going to go based off how many likes you're getting? Well, new UGA research finds social media may be influencing where we travel, especially for the younger generation. So study author Sabrina Rockman joins us now to break down what they found. Sabrina, thanks so much for being here this afternoon.
Thank you, Tyler, for having me on your show.
I mean, so I love to travel, so that's obviously caught my attention, which is why we wanted to have you on today. So obviously, I mean, people love their phones. People love to post things on social media.
Yes.
They want people to see their lives. But are people actually really, based off what you found, really kind of deciding where they're going and basically what they're going to do based off trying to get likes?
Yeah, so basically the magic element in our research was the component we call social return. Basically, and the best part is this concept was conceived in this freshman class at UGA that was taught by our lead researcher, Dr. Bynum Boley. And from that concept, Dr. Boley came up with this super cool scale called social return scale, which is basically our anticipation of getting positive feedback on our travel posts in social media. And we tested that effect on people across generations, and we tested it on tourists from 6 countries, and we found that effect to be significant for all the generations. But that intensity of that effect, that varied.
Well, and so Sabrina, obviously, I have definitely kind of maybe found vacation destinations based off the gram, as the young people call it, Instagram and different social media platforms, TikTok and Facebook and things like that. But I feel like, I mean, maybe I posted some things on social media, but I feel like that's not the only reason I did that. Are you, I mean, and I feel like when I went through some of the report, you talked about the social return.
Yes, but you're right, because travel decisions are complex, right? Many other things also factor in, like our accessibility, the cost associated with the travel, our personal preferences, our family preferences, and many other sociocultural characteristics that also contribute to our travel decision. Basically, our research is saying that social return is one of the crucial factors which in this age play a significant role in in making our decisions where to go or which experience to avail. Previously, we used to think that social media is only a tool where we document our travel experiences, but our research have found that through this social return component, social return is now playing a role in for us to decide which travel experience to avail in the first place, or which destination to choose.
So obviously a lot of places have these tourism organizations that try to get people there. It sounds like people in those organizations should be listening to this and basically trying to make sure their destination is all over social media and has the coolest things so people can see it, so that they end up benefiting from what is actually on there. Because if people are going based off social media and then they're posting that same stuff on social media, it's going to be in their best interest to probably try to link up with influencers.
Definitely. But one thing that our study has found, that the impact of social media that varied from generation to generation, whereas we found that millennials are mostly impacted by seeing positive social media posts and that impact their travel choices. One thing that made us surprised, that the Gen Zs, despite being the social media natives, growing up with social media, they were not that impacted by social return, especially for the conventional destinations like France and the US. So that also sends another message to the tourism marketers and the destinations that, one size fits all, that social media strategy might not work. Like, you need to know who are you talking to and what that generation values.
And Sabrina, before we run out of time, just very quickly, has this made you rethink how you travel?
Definitely. I am like very heavy social media user. So before going anywhere, I always scroll down like Instagrams and as you said, like, even in Facebook, and that impact my travel choices very significantly. But there are other factors as well. But, this is time that destination marketers, they focus on social media and try to enhance the social return factor through their travel posts.
Sabrina Rockman, thanks so much for joining us and talking about the study from UGA and what you guys found. I really appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Tyler. It was a pleasure talking to you.
It was a pleasure. Thanks so much. And as we come back into the newsroom, guys, I want to talk about a different story. I mean, we know, obviously, a lot of folks are already back in school. So if you were just listening to that and trying to come up maybe knowing that social media could play a role in your next vacation, you're going to have to probably wait if you have kids, maybe to winter break or fall break so that you can go out somewhere. But back to school, we are pretty much in that season. Most schools here in the Georgia area have already gone back to school. We still have a few left to return. I think Polk County returned today. But posting back to school photos on social media has become an annual ritual for many families. But the FBI says some parents could be letting the world know too much about their kids. Think like those signs with the picture, their name, and all the info. Well, Fox's Asher Red is in Atlanta right now. And Asher, you spoke one-on-one with the FBI. What did they have to say about these back-to-school photos?
Well, Tyler, the special agent in charge of the FBI's Atlanta field office tells me that the internet can be one of the most dangerous places for children, and the parents posting their kids' back-to-school photos are no exception to this. The FBI is warning these parents to be extra cautious to make sure they're not accidentally revealing things about their kids' daily routines, things like specific bus stops, routes they take to school, home addresses, and even school names. They say online predators could potentially use these revealing posts to build a relationship with kids. And even though your social media account may be set to private, that doesn't mean that these details can't land themselves in the wrong hands.
You can't control, once a picture hits online, you cannot control who shares it, you cannot control who screenshots it.
You shouldn't be like posting your kids online like that and stuff like that. Just because, yeah, like you don't know who's watching and then who might target you because they see like, oh, you're from this area, maybe I can get something out of this person.
And the FBI says that these online relationships can lead to sextortion. That's where criminals will threaten to share inappropriate images of victims unless some sort of financial monetary payment is made. Now, back last year, the FBI reported 13 million sextortion damages, and Georgia led the nation with 3 million in damages, with victims as young as 6 years old. The FBI says even though your kid may think that their new online friend is their age, it could actually be an adult from another country.
They befriend kids as other kids. Usually it's a 40-year-old man that's internationally based.
We have like a Apple family account, so we can actually monitor pretty much everything that they're doing. I trust them, but I don't trust the people online.
And the FBI says an overwhelming majority of these child sextortion victims are boys between 13 and 17 years old. Tyler?
Asher, thanks so much for that and telling us all about what people should be aware of. I mean, I've definitely seen all of those social media posts online. I've been seeing them for years. So good advice to be on the lookout and be careful about what exactly you are posting. Asher Red, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. And we still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock any minute now. In just probably about 20 to 30 minutes, we're expecting to have the teenager accused of opening fire inside of Warner Robins High School down in the Macon area yesterday. He's due to appear in court. You're looking at live pictures right now. We'll have much more coming up on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock in just 2 minutes. Welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. The time now is 1:31 on this Thursday afternoon. I'm Tyler Finger. Thanks so much for sticking with us and joining us for this news conversation this hour as we talk about the headlines and what you need to know. I want to get you caught up on something that happened yesterday in Warner Robins. And any minute now, we expect to have the suspect accused of opening fire inside of Warner Robins High School. He's due to appear in court. So let me just get you caught up on what we know. We expect the 14-year-old who is in custody after a fight escalated into a shooting to make his first court appearance. Investigators do tell us that the 9th grader shot a classmate during a fight in a bathroom around 2:15 yesterday afternoon. They say the shooter ran out of the school after opening fire and was caught in a neighborhood across the street from the school. Parents rushed to the campus after getting word of a shooting. The wounded student was taken to the hospital, and as soon as we get an update on that hearing, we will share it with you. Let's see if we can take live pictures from inside of the courtroom at this hour. You can see they are pointing towards a door. So at 2 o'clock, when we expect this hearing to get underway, since it has been delayed about 30 minutes, we expect that 14-year-old to walk out of that door. He will then appear, or he or she will appear and face a judge to talk about. It looks like a deputy from the Fulton County Sheriff's Office just walked out of that door. So we will obviously be hearing, I guess, some of the charges possibly, maybe just finding out if bond is going to be given or denied in this case. But again, a 14-year-old accused of opening fire inside of Warner Robins High School yesterday afternoon is due to appear in court for his initial court appearance. We are going to be staying on top of this and bring you updates as soon as we get it right here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. And if it gets into the 2 o'clock hour, we'll bring it to you during that hour as well. As we come back into the newsroom, let's talk about a story that is certainly making headlines right now. And I want to tell you about it. 11 people are facing charges after being accused of orchestrating more than 1,000 sham marriages. So here's what we know. Officials say the fake marriages were intended to help with immigration status for foreign nationals. And according to the indictment, these marriages were set up primarily with people from China, taking place from 2016 through last month. So the alleged network, which was based in New York City, is accused of arranging sham marriages throughout the country. So not just in New York, but throughout the 50 states of our country, and including right here in Georgia. It also included Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Florida.
Scheme was not a quick fly-by-night operation, but rather a years-long, multi-million-dollar cottage industry to criminally assist people who would not, or legally could not, otherwise become citizens of the United States.
So Chinese nationals reportedly paid as much as $100,000 for assistance in obtaining a marriage, which allowed them to apply for a green card. U.S. citizens are paid as much as $30,000 to engage in the sham marriage. The defendants face up to 15 years in prison if convicted on all of the charges. Let's talk about a story we brought to you as breaking news during Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock yesterday. So we are learning more details about that murder-suicide involving that at-home daycare near Minneapolis. So let me get you caught up on what we know. Police in Minnesota say Wednesday's murder-suicide at the at-home daycare in Hopkins is now connected to another stabbing in Burnsville. We brought to you this as breaking news, as I mentioned, and a 78-year-old woman was found stabbed to death inside a home in Burnsville. Police say the suspect's mother lived in that home and that the suspect had recently lived there as well. Police said that the victim was a close family relative of the suspect. On Wednesday, the suspect, a 41-year-old man, killed a 41-year-old woman believed to be his wife and their 7-year-old daughter. He then shot and killed himself. Children were at the daycare at the time of the attacks, but those other ones were not injured. We know that one child, though, was killed, and that was a family member's child. So as we come back into the newsroom, we're going to talk about something else that happened yesterday afternoon. We learned that the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, well, she is going to be leaving the White House White House has the role of the press secretary, so she decided to resign and step down. But apparently she's still going to actually remain part of like an outside advisory group for the president. That's according to a post he made. So let me get you caught up on this story. So Caroline Leavitt is preparing to leave at the end of the month, and she is earning some praise from the president on her way out. Leavitt was just 27 years old when she took over one of the most visible podiums in the world. She wrote on X, quote, "The truth is, since returning to the White House after the birth of my daughter, I have felt in my heart that I cannot be the best mom to my two young children deserve while devoting the constant time, energy, and attention required of the White House press secretary." On Truth Social, President Trump said Caroline will now be one of his top outside advisors. So right now, no word yet on who will be taking over for her once she steps down at the end of the month. So that is one of the stories that is certainly trending right now across the country, but we have a lot more stories that are trending right now on fox5atlanta.com and our Fox Local app. I want to bring in our Jamison Moyer now to talk about some of them. Jamison, what is going viral on our website right now?
So one of the biggest things right now is that $1 billion Powerball. People cannot get enough of the Powerball. And although a Georgia player did not go home with the billion, a few local players still managed to get lucky. 4 tickets sold in Georgia matched 4 white balls to scoop up $50,000 each. Plus, hundreds of other local players scored cash prizes ranging from $100 to $200. And as for that gigantic $1 billion jackpot, it went to one very lucky ticket sold in Illinois. The winner gets to choose between the annuity or a casual $450 million lump sum cash payout. Very casual. Just enough to save the bloodline, but the winning numbers were 4, 26, 66, 67, 69, and Powerball 9. So if you're in Georgia, be sure to check your tickets because you might be sitting on $50,000.
Jamison, are you one of those?
I forgot to get my tickets.
I didn't buy
We
one
were
either.
talking about it yesterday, and everyone was like, we're going to get them, and I forgot, unfortunately.
Yeah, I meant to go on my way home. I just did not pass a gas station on my way home, so I was not able to try my luck at trying to win. But you know what? There's always next time. But let's move on to the next one, next story you're going to talk about. And this one is certainly grabbing a lot of people's attention. And that is because of this drug-resistant fungus.
Yeah, pretty scary. So Georgia health officials are keeping a close watch on a potentially deadly drug-resistant fungus after nearly 200 cases have been reported across Georgia this year alone. It's called Candida auris. It's a rare yeast infection that spreads easily in healthcare settings and can withstand many common antifungal medications. Now, if you're healthy, you don't need to panic because your risk is low, but the real danger is for high-risk patients in hospitals or nursing homes, especially those who are on ventilators or have catheters, because the fungus clings to surfaces and resists standard treatment. Health authorities classify it as a serious threat. So if you have loved ones in long-term care facilities, make sure that those infection control standards are front and center.
Yep, but we better keep our eyes on that one with the developments and what's going on. It does appear cases are obviously rising, so we'll keep everyone updated on that. So we're approaching Halloween. Tell me about this drive-through pumpkin.
Yeah, so fall is coming up, and if you enjoy fall activities, this is a very interesting one. Burt's Pumpkin Farm is up in Dawsonville, and it's currently building what they're calling the world's largest drive-through pumpkin. And no, you don't just look at it, you also ride through it. If you take their popular hayride, it'll take you right through the inside of this massive orange structure for an interactive experience where you also watch an educational short film. It's set to be a huge hit for families and school trips. The official ribbon cutting on this pumpkin happens August 26th, and the attraction will be open to the public on September 1st. Tyler?
I'll be honest. I was reading the graphic that we had on screen, and I didn't know what to expect until it popped up. I was like, I didn't know if it was a real pumpkin or whether it was a fake pumpkin, and obviously it's a fake pumpkin. They're kind of sculpting it, but that's kind of cool. You'll be able to drive through it. I'm sure the kids will love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've been out there. I think we've done this actually before in past years. And our news station, we've sent crews out there to go and have some fall fun with this pumpkin in Dawsonville.
Maybe we should take the show on the road on September 1st when it opens up to the public. Jamison Moyer, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And as we come back into the newsroom, we want to take you live somewhere that is pretty interesting. So let's talk about this next story here. If you're looking for a way to get the family off the screens and outside, a Marietta farm has a new option. So Three Birds Farm is launching a new membership program, all focused on outdoor activity and time together. So we sent our Eli Jordan up there to get all the details on this. I mean, Eli, obviously we're in an interconnected world, but it is sometimes really nice to get outside, put the phones down, and just reconnect with people you love.
That's right. You know, Tyler, we spend way more time on phones than we realize. Adults, 7 hours a day on the phone. Teens spend about 8.5 hours a day on the phone. And, you know, where does all that time go? And, you know, when we start scrolling, next thing you know, with the sun setting and the day's gone and all that, and we kind of forget how to connect with each other and connect with nature and recenter ourselves. We all need it, not just us adults, but the kids need it as well, because it helps them deal with everyday, you know, inconveniences and things like that in a proper way. And here at Three Birds Farm, Dana Karen, the owner, agrees. We're spend too much time on the phones. Hey, Dana.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. So tell me, I mean, what made you decide to, you know, expand your equine farm here into a reconnection farm, I say?
Well, I mean, watching stuff happen for families with their kids' addictions to the devices and not wanting to get out, bringing their phone with them to the farm, you know, basically watching life instead of experiencing life.
And so what do you offer here?
So in this space, this is just straight outdoor play. This, what you're looking at, is Fort's Kids Built. They just come up here totally unscripted, decide for themselves what they're going to do, using their own minds, their own imaginations.
And without a phone.
Without a phone. And amazingly, just like we used to do, can play for hours.
And, you know, it's like unstructured play out here, and parents hovering and all that. You're offering day camps and programs, aren't you?
Yes.
So tell me about those real quick.
We do every week of summer. We do every week of school break and digital learning days, and basically when parents need their kids, because they're still at work, in something. We also have an after-school program. So that was started because the parents were, they want their kids active. They want them out doing something, but maybe they don't want to be in structured sports. But they don't want them just going home, because then you're fighting for the devices. No, you can't get on your iPad. No, you can't turn the TV on. They bring them here. They run, they play, they get their exercise, they unwind, they make friends, and send them home happy.
So if somebody wants more information, what website can they go to?
threebirds.farm.
Threebirds.farm. And then get more information. And you're open, register for camps and things like that.
Register for camps. We have active family memberships. Just come and see us.
I think we're going to start seeing more and more of this as we realize that screen time is not healthy. Dana Karen, thank you so much. Threebirds.farm is the website if you want more information. They have out here at Three Birds, they have pastures, petting zoo, animals to hang out with. It's not here, but how many kids these days actually have spent a lot of time out in the woods, Tyler? And, get the heads out of the phone. 8 hours is too much. Let's get out, play, stimulate that mind a little bit, and have some fun, get some dirt underneath their fingernails. Back to you, Tyler.
Yeah, especially on a nice day, a nice weather day. This could be a great place, a great thing for people to do. Eli Jordan, thanks so much for joining us. We'll check in with you a little bit later. We still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We're going to be talking about a sale and how, if you're a history buff, how this kind of intermingles. Well, the details in just 2 minutes. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live on this Thursday afternoon. The time now is 1:47. We're so glad you're here. We're going to talk food now. So this is your shot to be able to sample some of the top restaurants in Alpharetta all under one roof. Of course, we had to send our Paul Milliken to check it out.
We are just 2 weeks away from the most delicious day of the year, or really night of the year, here in Alpharetta. It is Grand Tasting Alpharetta, happening at the Hotel at Avalon on August 27th. And the concept is really simple. It is more than 24 of the best restaurants in town all come together in one place, and you get to try them all out. And one of our very favorites, and I am so glad to be here and so glad they are part of the event, is Fogone and Lyons. Gentlemen, it's great to see you, Anthony and Taylor. First of all, Anthony, look, I could answer this question myself because I've been here and I know the food and I love the food. But if someone's never been here, what is the cuisine at Fogone and Lyons?
It's a here at Fogone and Lyons, we celebrate tradition, Latin tradition, flavors, and culture. Yeah. And with that being said, we have the heart of our kitchen, which is the wood fire grill. Yeah. Here we cook only with wood. You cannot beat the flavor of that.
Yes, I was going to ask you, and we talked about this earlier. I mean, when you cook over wood like that, you're really just imparting a lot of extra flavor, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I love that. Okay, do you have any menu favorites here? I'm going to put you on the spot. Like, if you're just getting lunch or dinner, what are you getting?
Oh, it's right over here. It's my favorite steak. It's the skirt steak that we have. It is marinated with our papaya marinade, which is a natural tenderizer. Okay. So it basically melts in your mouth. It's amazing.
Okay, I know that's your favorite, but I'm eating it first, okay? Don't come near this is my plate right here. So Taylor, you guys are part of this year's Grand Tasting Alpharetta. I know you're always involved in a lot of community events like this. How excited are you about the event?
Super excited. You know, we love doing these events around town, you know, as much as we can do, you know, showcase, you know, our hard work and everything that we've done. So it's a lot of fun.
And so this year at Grand Tasting Alpharetta, you'll be serving this up. So what is this right here?
So this is a panchito glazed pork belly. And it's got a nice little frisee salad on top. You know, the sauce itself is sweet, savory, just a little bit of spice, but not too much.
Yeah, it is so good. And then in front of that, I just want to mention the other plate of food we have. Oh, what is that?
That is going to be a hamachi teradito. So it is thin sliced hamachi, or Japanese amberjack, and it's going to have lime juice, a little bit of salt, and then two different sauces. We have the ají amarillo and the ají roja, which translates to red pepper and yellow pepper sauces that are blended up. And then we have a nice crispy carrot strings on top with some micro cilantro.
Oh, I cannot wait to try that. Now, I asked Anthony, so what about you? If you're just going to get one thing off the menu, what's it going to be? Don't even say the same thing, because we're not sharing with you.
I love that steak. It's so good. But the adobo chicken, absolutely. The adobo chicken is incredible. The marinade on that is fantastic.
Amazing. All right. Well, if you really want to come have dinner or come try Fogone and Lyons, but you live maybe up in the Johns Creek area, I've got very good news for you. Get in here. Julio, our great friend, the owner of Fogone and Lyons. It's always good to see you, my friend.
It's a pleasure to have you, Bob. Right?
And you guys are growing. You get another location coming.
We are growing. The Lions are coming to Johns Creek, to the Grand and only the medley. So it's a new project opening on October 29th. So super excited to be there. And we are happy and excited to bring the flavors and tradition of Spanish cuisine and Latin America to Johns Creek and be part of the community.
Yeah, it must feel really good that just within the past couple of years, you've built up the kind of following that you have here.
Listen, we have been very blessed to be here in this beautiful town of Alpharetta, and because of the amazing feedback and support, we've been able to grow and to keep developing our beautiful restaurant and to provide, you know, our hospitality and hugs and smiley faces and the amazing thing that we have to grow and have new opportunities down the road.
Yeah, this is so great. All right, well, we'll come visit you in the new location soon, okay?
Oh, my pleasure. We'd love to have you.
And for now, wait, you guys stay right where you are. I'm going to take this and just back away slowly because I know they both want it, and Julio probably does too, and this is mine. Again, we're at Fogone and Lyons. Grand Tasting Alpharetta coming up in 2 weeks.
Paul is so slimy trying to get the food away from everyone else. Paul, thanks so much. Remember, you can always find more Good Day Atlanta segments on our website, fox5atlanta.com. Just navigate over to the Good Day Atlanta section. So let's talk about this last story before we go. The Marietta History Center's annual Rummage and Book Sale is underway right now. So we sent our Chris Rosenthal to get all the details on what they're selling and how you can help.
Yeah, hey, this I'm here at the Marietta History Center, and this morning this place was busy. Everybody coming in here, getting the first rush, first pick of items. I got all the books here behind me, lots of historic items here that you can get. And I have Amy here. She is the director here at the Marietta History Center, and let's talk about some of these items. I mean, some of this stuff is very historic. Huh?
Yes,
this looks brand new. But...
These are gorgeous. These are from the 20s, and you would get these as kind of like little prizes in cigarette packs of all things, but they are in pristine condition. There's the large one, and then there's smaller ones. Just beautiful pieces like this that 100 years old, and look at it, and it's only $2 each for each of them. I mean,
wow.
Grab a piece of history.
Yeah, and there's a little items. So we have big items here too. You have some furniture.
This is stunning. It is a mid-century modern, cabinet here, that dresser, but actually just sold. So things are going fast out here. You got to get out here to get the good stuff. But it's a stunning piece of furniture. So we have a wide variety of items here, from books to furniture to fabrics, toys, all kinds of things.
Gotcha. And so so it's going on here from today until
4 o'clock.
Till 4 o'clock, and going on through Saturday. So back to you, Tyler.
Chris, thanks so much. We are getting some breaking news into the newsroom right now we want to switch to. So the 14-year-old suspect accused of opening fire on inside Warner Robins High School yesterday is appearing before a judge for the first time right now. Let's listen together.
I have a lawyer, and as I've explained, if you can't afford to hire a lawyer, the court will appoint one for you, okay? It sounds like your mama is on that. But if you want an opinion attorney, you have to fill out an affidavit, or your mama has to give us some information about your finances to be qualified, okay? You have the right to what we call a pre-indictment probable cause unless you are released on bond or there's a grand jury indictment prior to that, okay? Regardless, at some point, you have the right for your case to be presented to the grand jury. That's simply a group of folks in Fulton County who serve 6 months at a time, and they are a check or balance to make sure that there's some basis for the DA to bring these charges, okay? You also have the right to a jury trial position. Charged in superior court as an adult, you can have your case presented to the jury if you choose to. Next grand jury, for purposes of indictment, meets next week or next week? I was thinking that was next Tuesday. Okay, so the next grand jury convenes Tuesday, was that the 22nd? The 18th. Tuesday, the 18th. Mr. Willis, that doesn't mean the VA has to present it to them. They'll have to do it at some time, and they basically meet mostly every other Tuesday. But the next possible day, or the earliest possible day, would be next Tuesday, August the 18th. If at any time you wish to waive your rights and enter a guilty plea, you can notify the court or the law enforcement officer whose custody you're in, and we'll make those arrangements, okay? If you have any questions about your rights. Okay. All right. So I'm going to we let it have Mr. Willis, what I'm handing you is just a written version of what I just told you, okay? And if you would like, I'll make sure there's a copy provided to your mom, so she can copy that to your attorney, and the court will keep a copy as well, okay? I am not going to entertain the issue of bond today. You'll remain in custody of the YDC. Generally, you would come up a week from Thursday automatically on our bond calendar. If you hire an attorney, they can talk to the DA's office and they'll know what to do about getting on the calendar if they want to make that argument, okay? All right. Anything else? All right. he can be returned to the White House. Thank you. Will you go, Mike?
So you've been watching live with us here out of Houston County, where the 14-year-old suspect accused of opening fire inside of Warner Robins High School yesterday faced a judge for the first time. This is for that first appearance hearing, essentially a bond hearing. So what I can tell you, obviously that audio was incredibly poor using the front mic of those cameras that are inside the courtroom. But let me walk you through what I did hear and what I understood from that Houston County judge. So she mentioned a grand jury, so it does sound like this is going to obviously have to go to a grand jury, which is typical in situations like this. They'll ultimately decide. Bond was denied in this case, but it might be based off the charges. So there's going to be another hearing, a bond hearing, specifically to take up the discussion of bond for this 14-year-old suspect, and at that point it will be decided whether that person, whether he'll be able to be released. So we know all of this unfolded yesterday, a shooting inside of Warner Robins High School. Let me just walk you through what we know. You can see people are now filing out of the courtroom. We know that that 14-year-old, apparently, according to investigators, there was some sort of fight that escalated to a shooting inside of the high school. Investigators say the 9th grader shot a classmate during a fight in the bathroom, and it happened around 2:15 yesterday afternoon. They say that teenager who you just saw ran out of the school after and was caught in a neighborhood across from the school. And obviously parents rushed to the scene. You can see it. An officer there had an assault rifle out. We are going to continue to monitor this and bring you the very latest throughout the afternoon right here on Fox 5 News Live. But what you just watched, just to reiterate the news, we know that the suspect, who we're not sure his name at this point, that has not been released, and it was very hard to make out the exact name, but bond has been denied and will be pushed off to a later date. It sounds like a week from Thursday. He'll appear in court once again. We are going to stay on top of this and bring you the very latest coming up on Fox 5 News Live at 2 and 3 o'clock. My good friend Ariel Onstott will be joining you at the top of the hour, and we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. We'll be right back.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for joining us live here at 2 o'clock. I want to give you an update if you're just now joining us. The suspect involved in a shooting at Warner Robins High in Houston County has just made his first appearance before a judge. We're working to get video from that courtroom. We just had a live picture up giving you an idea as to what was going on. That has just concluded. So in the meantime, let's take a look at some scene video as to what unfolded yesterday. And I want to talk you through what unfolded in the courtroom today. We understand that this suspect appeared before the judge and was denied bond. So at this point, the case is going to go before a grand jury who will decide whether or not to indict this teen suspect. Additionally, the judge instructed the teen to find counsel. That is something that he is going to have to do. We understand as well that 2 students were hurt in this altercation that unfolded yesterday. One was hurt in a shooting, the other unclear as to the nature of their injuries. But let's talk through this because Houston County Sheriff Matt Moulton says the incident happened around 2:15 inside one of the bathrooms of the school. Authorities added there was a group of students inside that bathroom when a verbal altercation happened between 2 of the students. The sheriff says the verbal altercation escalated into a physical fight, and at some point one of the students took out a gun, shooting another student. The student who was hurt was rushed to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. A school resource officer stayed with the victim and applied tourniquets. Authorities say the suspect ran out of the school in an unknown direction, and after reviewing video, authorities were able to capture the suspect in the Huntington Hills neighborhood, which is just across the street from the school. The sheriff's office stated that a suspect is now in custody at this time, which we just got to see in a courtroom, and we're working to get that video cut so that way we can show it to you here within the 2 o'clock hour. Keep in mind, we just had a live feed of the courtroom, and that has just wrapped up. Now, the sheriff did say the suspect was a 14-year-old 9th grade student. The victim also a 9th grade student. The incident triggered a code red, keeping students, staff, and others secure in their classrooms until police were able to clear the school. We saw a heavy law enforcement presence while all of this was going on, and then numerous parents and others lining the school grounds, understandably concerned as to what unfolded. School will be closed. Warner Robins High will be closed today and tomorrow. Teachers will return Friday, August 14th, tomorrow, and then students will return Monday, August 17th. That is according to Brett Wallace, who is the principal of Warner Robins High. Additionally, we understand that this was a very traumatizing incident for a lot of parents who had no idea what was going on and were trying to figure this out, as you might imagine. So as this progresses forward and we get some video of that situation, we will continue to keep you updated regarding the court appearance today. When we were listening in, it was a little bit hard to make out the audio within the courtroom. Was hard to make out from the distance what the name of that teen suspect was. Given that they are a minor, the judge gets to decide what the procedures will be, and it does appear that they are willing to identify this minor in this situation, given the nature of the crime. So we will continue to keep you updated. This is not the only scary situation that unfolded at a school this week. Let's talk about what happened at a Cobb campus, on a Cobb County campus. A student brought a gun to Campbell Middle School in Smyrna and ultimately was taken into custody after bringing that weapon onto the school grounds. Educators say that the student threatened classmates during class, and this happened just 7 days into the school year. District officials confirmed that staff and students acted according to their safety training, allowing school personnel to secure the situation immediately and take that student into custody. Parent James Wilson said an administrator called him around 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon to report that a boy threatened his son and another classmate with a gun during fourth period. That parent says the student told the children, quote, "I will shoot y'all, I will kill y'all." Take a listen to what else that parent had to share with us regarding how he's the frustration that he's feeling.
The city is the largest stakeholder. I think that some of the mayor's criticisms are absolutely warranted, and I think a lot of the mayor's criticisms have been addressed.
Okay, so that was not the parent, not James Wilson. We're going to work to see if we can get his interview in. I want to let you know, though, what he did share with us, because he said that he and his classmate, his son and his son's classmate, were in their fourth period, and the boy had a gun and threatened to shoot both of them. And then he said that he was dumbfounded at that point to learn about this. I'm looking at our preview monitor, and I think we might have this, so let's go ahead and listen.
His classmate were in class in their fourth period, and the boy had a gun and threatened to shoot both of them. And so I was dumbfounded at that point. I'm like, what? You know, I'm still trying to register. They should definitely look at the parent. I don't know how that child even had access to a gun to bring to school. And then we have to look at the school and the school system as well, because he had this gun on campus for well over 4 hours.
So as that father explained, he believes that the student had the gun on campus for 4 hours, and it was not known that that gun was on the school grounds. The father says that he wants action to be taken, as you might imagine, to make sure that his student can stay safe. Ultimately, we understand that in the quote for statement from the school district, they wrote, "We can confirm that a weapon was recovered from a student at Campbell Middle School yesterday. The Cobb County School District Police Department is actively investigating the circumstances surrounding the incident. The safety and well-being of our students and staff are our highest priority, and we are grateful that our safety protocols and close partnership with law enforcement enabled us to respond immediately, secure the situation, and take the student into custody." Officials have not specified the type of weapon recovered on campus, nor the age or the identity of that student taken into custody. So we will continue to keep you updated. In the meantime, I do want to let you know, some of you chiming in here on TikTok, YouTube, you are always a part of the conversation, and I will work to answer any questions that you might have on some of the stories we're covering. I see here someone saying that you live in Houston County, and it was a horrible day yesterday, so upsetting. I can only imagine this has put a lot of people in the community on edge. Thankfully, both of those students face non-life-threatening injuries, but the reality is we all know it could have been worse. So keep us updated as to how you're doing. In the meantime, let's talk about the escalating costs that Georgia's foster care system is facing. We understand that many are sounding the alarm as to what this means for families. And in fact, a study was commissioned to look closer at this growing crisis. Our Deidre Dukes joins us live to share more about the situation. Deidre, it is great to see you. What are you learning?
Yeah, and you can bet, as you know, Ariel, this is very important work that's being undertaken by a joint committee of House and Senate members here at the state capitol, meeting this morning for the first time. They will meet over the next several months through the summer into fall to come up with a report where they will address some of the concerns that we have here in Georgia as in regards to Georgia's foster care system and the escalating costs, the skyrocketing costs, given that they are tasked with seeing to the care of some of Georgia's most vulnerable young people in this system. We learned today that right now there are approximately about 9,000 young people in Georgia's foster care system. And as you know, Ariel, Georgia's foster care system faced a very big crisis in funding just this past year, when they saw that they were some $80 million or so, $80 to $85 million or so in the hole. And so this past legislative session, state lawmakers really kind of backfilled to replace some of that money, make up that budget shortfall. But they are meeting now because they want to ensure that that never happens again. And it's important to note that this is not a crisis only facing the state of Georgia, but really something that we learned today. Systems across the country, foster care systems across the country are facing for several reasons, in part due to, as we see in our own households, just rising costs of everything and inflation. And also they're seeing some issues as far as delays in getting grant monies, and also some issues with federal funding. And so, as you might imagine, it all snowballs and comes into play. So we talked to the two chairwomen who are heading the committee, State Rep Beth Camp and State Senator Kay Kirkpatrick, today about what they plan to accomplish over the next several months, and here's what they told us.
They have all that, but they just were trying to help all the committee members understand what the different factors are that play into this and what the goal should be, which is the best outcomes for the kids.
And especially, states vary geographically, the services that are provided throughout a state, whether it's a rural or more urban area, there are so many factors that play in. It's almost challenging to look at one state and say, well, they're doing a great job, especially, for example, New Jersey was brought up today. Well, it's a much smaller state, and there's a lot more access to care because of distance to larger cities. So looking at Georgia, you have to actually look at it as an individual state. But knowing what other states are doing, we borrow from other states, their successes all the time. And so we look forward to doing that as well.
Now, we did hear today on this first day of the committee meeting, we heard from the state agency that is over the Department of Family and Children's Services, really some sobering testimony there as far as what challenges they face, not only with the funding, but also some of the cases, some of the young people that are in the system that they are trying to help, along with foster care families and guardians, and really just the extreme cases and extreme challenges that they face right now. We also heard from a nonprofit organization that really talks about it and looks at just nationwide some of the challenges that foster care systems are facing, and really looking at what can be done on the front end to try to address the needs, the concerns, the issues that are really pivotal and vital to families facing these crises in their own homes, and trying to address them at the front end so these young people, these children, don't wind up in the system. So just a very sobering testimony today, Ariel, and a very important topic that our state lawmakers are tackling over the summer into the fall, and they'll be submitting a report at the start of next year to try to address some of these issues, possibly through legislation.
Deidre, I understand our community all about the solutions at this point, because what foster families do is so important, and to understand that they may not be able to afford to do that, we just cannot have that. So hopefully our lawmakers are able to find some solutions and kind of work through this so they get the support they need. In the meantime, Deidre, I know you will keep us updated every step of the way. We will see you again later this evening. Thanks so much for joining us live. Deidre Dukes reporting from our state capitol. As we continue at 2 o'clock, you guys, I want to tell you about a scary situation for some passengers that unfolded at on a Delta flight. This as you're taking a live look over Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. We understand a Delta Airlines flight to South Florida was forced to return to the airport just minutes after takeoff, after the captain reported smoke in the cockpit. Take a listen to what air traffic control told first responders as they rushed to the plane in Atlanta.
Aircraft call sign is Delta 1334. It's an Airbus 321. Report of smoke in cockpit. Will be landing runway 27 right. 17,000 pounds of fuel. 181 souls on board.
Ultimately, a Delta spokesperson confirmed the plane landed without incident after crew members detected a smoky odor on board. A Delta spokesperson says that flight crew members followed established procedures to ensure that everyone on board remained safe. Officials have not yet confirmed the exact cause of this odor inside the cockpit. The plane did taxi under its own power to a gate. We will keep you updated. Let's talk about a deadly shooting that unfolded in DeKalb County that investigators are still looking into. 2 homicide investigations are underway after 2 separate shootings overnight. One happened on North Harrison Road, the other on Park Lorraine, about 10 minutes away. On Park Lorraine, around 11:13 last night, a man was found shot multiple times inside a home at the Fontaine East condominiums. He died on the scene, and we spoke to a neighbor who's lived at the complex for less than a year. She says she thinks she heard gunshots and was shocked to see the scene outside of her front door. Investigators are examining evidence to figure figure out what happened before the shooting. No arrests have been made. And in the meantime, we will continue to keep you updated. I want to let you know, as far as the shooting on North Harrison Road in DeKalb County, not long before that shooting, a man was killed in a parking lot on North Harrison Road in the Stone Mountain area. Investigators are working to figure out what led up to the shooting, and no arrests have been made in this just yet. In the meantime, investigators have also been busy with the sheriff's office after capturing an inmate who escaped the Fulton County Jail. Law enforcement search has come to an end after that inmate, named Demetrius Burks, was captured early this morning, according to the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. We got to see law enforcement officers outside the jail early this morning as investigators searched the area with flashlights. They left the jail and began searching near the Garnett MARTA station in downtown Atlanta. They say that just before 7:30 this morning, they were able to locate and apprehend Demetrius Burks. According to Fulton County Jail records, Burks has an extensive criminal history, including theft and drug charges. So we will continue to keep you updated on that. In the meantime, let's talk about an investigation on a federal level, what it has uncovered. We understand FBI Atlanta has executed search warrants at some businesses in Bartow County, and it's ended with 2 Cartersville men and 1 Chinese national being indicted because of what authorities say has been forced labor on their behalf. Let's get out to our Maria Guzman, who's been speaking with the U.S. Attorney about the situation. Maria, what can you share with us?
Hey, Ariel, the name of the company behind this investigation is called Well-Made Industries. Now, they make floor and they're based in Cartersville. Now, if the owner and his peers, if they are found guilty, they can face up to 20 years in prison each without the possibility of parole. And now here we're talking about a duo in between owner and nephew. So the investigation involves 2 people from Cartersville. They are 60 and 31 years old. Again, they're an uncle and nephew duo. Now, they both worked closely with another man from China to operate this scheme. Now, last year, authorities raided the business, and I spoke with the U.S. Attorney Theodore Hertzberg. He says the group also recruited foreign workers and housed them in overcrowded homes. So let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
This is a lengthy investigation, and it's had a number of phases. So last year in the spring, HSI agents, assisted by FBI and other state and local agencies, conducted a enforcement operation where they found a number of individuals living in terrible conditions, forced to live in these conditions and work at this plant. Since then, we've continued with the investigation, and that has culminated in the federal indictment that was brought earlier this week.
As to what's next, they are going to appear in court. Now, that day is to be determined, and they do expect them to plead not guilty, Ariel.
Maria, thank you for the update. We will stay tuned for the latest on this situation. I know that our AUSA's, our Attorney General's office, or excuse me, U.S. Attorney's office here in Atlanta has been really busy with these types of cases, and so we will stay tuned to you for the latest information. Maria Guzman, thank you so much. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, let's talk about a story that unfolded in Marietta last night. We understand that Marietta City Council has approved a data center despite a moratorium, a 6-month moratorium that was in effect. We understood that community leaders were going to make their voices heard last night, and they approached the podium and talked about how they felt. Keep in mind, this Marietta City Council voted 5-2 to approve this controversial 11-acre data center on Powers Ferry Place. The decision comes after a standing room only meeting marked by protests over noise, environmental impacts, and utility costs. The 6-month moratorium passed last month did not block the development because the application was submitted beforehand. Take a listen to some folks on both sides as to how they feel about this.
The impact they have on their surroundings are well documented, whether it's noise pollution, compromised water systems, toxic air, heat islands. We keep seeing more and more consequences wherever they're built. We refuse to accept this. The people who live and work here deserve a say in how our home grows and develops, and we do not want these data centers here. Members of the City Council were elected to represent us, not the billionaire owners of these data centers.
It's going to fund our schools. It's going to give more needed utilities to our schools, and it's going to allow our public safety and officers an increased response time. And so with that, I would say to the council, thank you for your time. And I'd ask you to continue the tradition of building the city that's got such a wonderful fabric of growth and community.
We'll continue to keep you updated as this data center is constructed. You got to hear from different community members about what they felt on the situation. Now, keep in mind, city officials have not yet announced when construction on this 11-acre site is going to begin. They did approve, like I mentioned, a 6-month moratorium on data centers last month, but that does not apply to this project because developers submitted that application before the moratorium was enacted. In the meantime, let's talk about the latest regarding that situation that unfolded at Minnesota daycare yesterday. We understand a third homicide now has been linked to these murders. Police in Minnesota believe Wednesday's murder-suicide at the in-home daycare in Hopkins, Minnesota is connected to another stabbing in Burnsville. A 78-year-old woman was found stabbed to death inside a home in Burnsville, and police say the suspect's mother lived in that home and that the suspect had recently lived there as well. Police say that the victim was a close family relative of the suspect. On Wednesday, the suspect, a 41-year-old man, killed a 41-year-old woman, believed to be his wife and their 7-year-old daughter. Police then say he shot and killed himself. Children were at the daycare at the time of this attack. Police say there were about 6 other kids at that in-home daycare, and they are reunited with their parents at this time. Let's talk about a nationwide manhunt that is happening as we speak. And really, police are looking for these people you see here on your screen. These 3 are accused of raiding mausoleums across Florida. You're looking at surveillance and photos of the suspects that police want to find. They say that they're from Indianapolis and are accused of stealing at least $35,000 worth of jewelry and family heirlooms from burial sites in several counties and cities in the state, including Orange, Seminole, and Hillsborough counties, as well as the city of Winter Park. Investigators believe the suspects are also involved in burial thefts in several other states. Officials are searching for the trio and asking for your help in tracking them down. They believe there could be additional victims. The Orange County Sheriff's Office has identified the suspects as Drake Millam, Porsche Bancroft, and Angela Garrett. So if they look familiar to you, give police a call in Florida immediately. You can call 911, the Orange County Sheriff's Office, Seminole County, or of course, the other county that they were accused of targeting, which I believe would be the city of Winter Park specifically, so not a county. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, we are going to be checking in with meteorologist Lauren Robinson on your weather forecast, and we are going to take a look, of course, at some national stories that we're following here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Welcome in, everybody. You're taking a live look here over downtown Atlanta, looking into Midtown. You're hearing me, Ariel Onstott. We've got meteorologist Lauren Robinson here at the desk.
Hello.
Our voices are going to walk you through the weather forecast here for the afternoon. So, Lauren, I have to say I've been loving the sunshine, but boy, is it warm outside.
Warm is an understatement. It is hot. We're in the 90s. We have triple-digit heat indices. It's been that way for a good portion of the day, and it's just going to continue to be hot and humid out there. We're seeing most of our temperatures in the 90s, 94 degrees right now in downtown Atlanta. Those couple of areas that have been able to drop down into the 80s, those are the couple of areas that have gotten a few isolated storms today, and that rain-cooled air has been able to drop those temperatures just a bit, but it's still plenty hot and humid. So we're seeing those temperatures anywhere from the middle 80s to the middle 90s right now. It looks like downtown Atlanta is our hot spot. We're seeing 85 degrees just to the west in Carrollton. Now, we factor in the humidity for the heat index. It feels like 104 in downtown Atlanta. Same goes for up in Rome and over in Athens. It feels like 105 in Canton. It feels like 102 right now in LaGrange. So this is where we're seeing that heat and humidity really overpower the area. And because of this, we actually have an expanded heat advisory area. This is going to now encompass the majority of North Georgia, as I suspected it would. So high country off to the north is not included, but the rest of us are seeing that orange. That means heat advisory. We're going to see that until 8 o'clock this evening, where the heat indices are going to be upwards of around 108 degrees. What this means is it's dangerously hot out there. So you want to make sure that you're not doing that extensive outdoor workout. Bring the pets inside, stay hydrated, get that shade and shelter. No leaving kids in cars, you know, the whole usual. Check on your elderly friends and relatives, all of those things that you do when it's super hot outside. So this is like June, July weather, but yeah, I know it's falling in the middle of August when we're trying to prepare for pumpkin spice latte weather. We're still getting that that middle of summer heat. So that's going to stick around actually through the next several days. It's not just today. We're going to continue to see the heat wave all the way through the weekend and into the beginning of the next work week. A lot of this is due to that H that's sitting there in the Gulf. That's turning in a lot of Gulf moisture and a lot of tropical warmth. So we're continuing to see this heat and humidity just stick all across North Georgia. Now, let's zoom in a little bit to see where we are seeing some of these storms. I want to play around with this radar to keep it pretty active. You can see the storms all across North Georgia are very hit or miss. South and near Macon, we've had some severe thunderstorm warnings. None so far in our viewing area, but if I put this in pause, because it's in play for the last 30 minutes or so. I'm going to put this in pause just to see where some of the hot spots are for these storms. We'll start to the southwest, where we have through Troup County into Coweta County, Carroll County there, far northwestern Meriwether County. This is where we're looking for some scattered storms. Really, it's just bringing quick downpours, gusty winds, lots of lightning and thunder. These are some pretty loud storms out there. So we're going to continue to watch for that there. And you can see other areas. We've been monitoring some storms. This is mostly going to be from Covington through Newborn into Monticello here. We're seeing some heavy storm there. I'm going to move over to our hail radar, where we're likely even getting some hail just south of Covington, just east of Jackson Lake. That's where you're seeing those kind of purple squares. Those are hail indicators. Now we go back to the storm, and as we take a look, we have more storms. Let's see, one making its way toward Watkinsville, near North High Shoals. We have more storms from Cornelia down through Talmo, down through Jefferson and Commerce here. Some heavy downpours, more lightning and thunder. The same happens as you make your way closer towards South Carolina here. And then we zoom out. Let's go just a bit west. Through Calhoun, LJ. I think we might even be seeing some hail here. No real hail signatures, but we are getting some heavy downpours. So all of these areas, they're very hit or miss, as you can see. So what you really want to continue to be prepared for is, if you're dry out there right now, maybe you're lucky enough to stay dry through the rest of the day. But you do have a chance. These storms are very hit or miss, and they're pretty fast moving. I'll put this back into motion here, and you can see they're mostly going from northwest to the southeast.
Okay.
So they're going to continue to move move, and they're moving pretty fast. So flooding's still a concern because some of these are dropping quite a bit of water, but they're not staying in one place for too long. So that's the good news there. As we move through the next couple of days, we're just going to continue to monitor those storm chances. This is tomorrow afternoon. It's going to look a lot like what we're seeing today. And by this weekend, we see smaller storm chances for our Saturday and Sunday. But in contrast to the storm chances going down, the temperatures are going to go up. So we win some, we lose some, right? And here's a look at our 7-day forecast where we stay in the middle to upper 90s all week long. Again, you factor in that humidity, it's going to feel like the triple digits across the area for the next several days. This is where we're going to continue to see those repeat heat advisories. You're going to continue to make sure you're staying aware of heat-related illness and injury. And just stay hydrated, stay weather aware, because we do still have those hit or miss storm chances. But I think what's more impactful than the storms, if one does pop up overhead, is certainly the heat and humidity.
It really is warm, hot, as you emphasized.
Yeah.
And just the idea of you could spend a small amount of time outside and very quickly find yourself
exhausted.
Exactly. So definitely something to keep in mind. Lauren, thank you as always for the update. Guys, as we continue here at 2 o'clock, we have more news headed your way, so stay tuned. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being live with us, and welcome back. So let's talk about some stories here in Atlanta that could affect you. I want to talk about a new City Hall proposal that could have trash and recycling bills going up by as much as 23%. Also want to talk about a new EPA proposal that could reduce scrutiny of data centers. How and why, we're going to get into it. And so let's bring in Axios Atlanta reporter Thomas Wheatley to talk about some stories that Axios Atlanta is working on. Thomas, great to see you this afternoon.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Thomas, let's get into it without further ado. You are working on a proposal, if you will, from City Hall, talking a little bit about what they are proposing in terms of our trash and recycling fees going up. Why is that?
Well, the Department of Public Works at Atlanta City Hall says that labor costs, fuel costs, operating costs have just continued to go up. The solid waste system is facing about a $53 million deficit, and the fleet that they use to transport trash from your curb to the landfill and to transfer stations, about a third of those are beyond their lifespan. So they've been looking for a while at what can the city do to build up operational reserves and create a fund so they don't have to go back to residents over and over and over again with a hike.
That makes sense. Trying to look a little bit further into the future. It's kind of like these high gas prices, high fuel prices, and just all of the inflation that we've seen. Why wouldn't it affect our city services? But I get that some people might be frustrated when it does. How would this fund work? I understand the city says that even some of its fleet is really old.
Correct. Yeah, the main purpose of the solid waste rate study, I have to get very technical here, is to create by 2028 or within the next few years an operational reserve that can keep things going in case of a budget crunch or a funding shortfall or something like that. And this fund would be just a place that they could go to for new trucks and new vehicles to replace these that are really running into the ground. I mean, they go through a lot. And the way that they're doing this is initially they're proposing an increase on to the typical household bill from about $559 now. It would go up to $619 in 2027, and then $685 in 2028. So as you said, that's 23%.
I have to say that was going to be my next question, which you've already so perfectly answered, which is just like, how much more money is this going to cost me? So with that information in mind, this is something that Atlanta is proposing, they're looking into. I'd like to now talk about what this new EPA proposal is all about. I understand the Trump administration is discussing whether to eliminate a federal requirement that would basically allow people to make their voices heard on certain issues. How does this work? What would the rollback mean? How does it affect data centers?
Well, they're called minor source air permits, and the minor can be a bit of a misnomer. These are permits that are issued for factories. I've seen them for even in some instances, maybe like a dry cleaner or something like that. But they're also used for generators that are increasingly being used at data centers. As you know, data centers, they need reliable electricity to operate, and when they go down, many of them rely on gas and diesel generators to kick in. Right now, the federal government has a minimum of public participation and public notice when these come up, and under the proposal now, they would eliminate that minimum and turn it over to the states to decide when, whether, how to, those are their words, have public notice, have public participation. And it doesn't sound like a very big thing, but for advocates who watch these data centers closely, it's huge. It could totally change the way that they scrutinize these projects.
It's interesting, Thomas, just the ripple effect that things can have, because on its surface, it sounds really boring and you're just like, okay, so we're rolling back, a federal proposal on allowing people to make their voices and comments heard. What does that really do? But when you get into it, you're like, oh, that can do a lot, because if every state takes a look at this differently, then some people might not have the oversight over the community, their communities that they may wish to have. I know here in our area, of course, Georgia has a lot of data centers, especially when you look at a map compared to other states. Marietta just approved a new 11-acre data center, and it's kind of this trade-off of we're using this technology at the same time. There are a lot of concerns about the noise, maybe some of the pollution, different things like that. And so if these diesel generators that power these data centers, we're not able to make our voices heard on that, I can understand why some people might be concerned about this rollback and then relinquishing power to various states, if you will.
And it's really it really is the best way for not just environmental advocates or environmental law firms to keep track on these, but just the general public. I've spoken to people who said that this process, gives them time to organize, gives them time to learn about what's being proposed, lets them look over the analysis of the air quality potential impacts, build a case, help try to find, pitfalls and problems for regulators. So it's not just about, being important for them to oppose the data center, but also maybe shape the way it shape the requirements on it. And again, it's not just data centers. It can apply to a lot of different things. Now, a caveat here is that it's not going to ban public comment. The EPA is stressing that this goes back to the states. We have not heard what the state of Georgia Environmental Protection Division has in mind. I think a lot of that comes down to what happens with this federal rule change. But it's a very important process, and it could create a patchwork across the country if states decide to do different things.
Yeah, this is a really good point here, Thomas. So, and also keeping in mind that this rollback wouldn't apply to just data centers like you mentioned. It could have a whole host of other effects. Right now, we don't know what Georgia may do, probably keeping things potentially the same. But as always, we will stay tuned to figure out what happens next. I enjoy our conversations, Thomas. I'm looking at our timing here, and I'm going to look ahead to next week to see what you got for us. But thank you so much for joining us live to talk about these stories.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you later.
Awesome. See you later. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, let's take you out to a book sale. Maybe you've got a little bit of your lunch break still left. Maybe you're leaving work early today. Well, guess what? There is a book sale that's benefiting the Marietta History Center. I know you guys love book sales, and these tend to be really popular. So Chris Rosenthal there live talking about how we can get involved. Chris.
Yeah, they have books and a lot more too. They have a lot of the historic items and other items here that you can pick up here at the Marietta History Center rummage sale, their annual sale. Today was the first day, and people were here, as soon as they opened to try and get first dibs on some of the items. But it goes through till into Saturday. But I have Amy here. She is with she's director here at the Marietta History Center, and you could buy some real history here.
Yeah,
huh?
You really can. We've got some really great items like this. I can't believe it's still here. These are gorgeous felted pieces of material that you got in the 1920s in cigarette boxes. These are 100 years old. They were kind of little gifts with your cigarettes.
Yeah.
And 100 years old, they're gorgeous. They're in great condition. That's a piece of history right there.
Wow, pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap, $2 each, really. I mean, we price to sell here. All the money is going back to support the Marietta History Center, and specifically going back to support the collections and collections care here. So historic preservation, all of it goes in.
More than books, furniture too. Furniture's popular this year, huh?
Yes, it is. Yes, this piece in particular I loved. Is stunning. It's a mid-century modern piece, but it was only $30 and it sold. It sold. So we still have some treasures around here, but they are going. But the further along we get, the prices will get even better. And we'll be here from today until 4, tomorrow from 10 to 4, and Saturday from 10 to 4. And actually Saturday also, for those who come, it is free admission all day because it's our monthly pop-in for Family Fun Day. So free admission to the museum.
Out some items that are on sale. What will be left then?
That's right.
So
that's right.
Some other historic items here.
Yeah, check this out. I mean, come on, an antique wall phone. Who wouldn't want to put this? It's heavy too, y'all. It's heavy, but who wouldn't want to? Oh, I'm not going to break that. Right? Who wouldn't want to put that on their wall? I mean, that's pretty cool. What a conversation piece right there.
Yeah, that's real. That's not some made-up thing.
No, it is real.
I love the history here. I mean, some of these papers here. These go back. What year is this here?
Oh my gosh, this paper, yes, it's Watertown Standard. So any viewers out there from Watertown, New York, this is an 1894 original newspaper. It's fascinating.
I love the headlines here. Let's see here. Two women murdered, a famous writer dead. It's kind of like the news headlines of today. Not much has changed.
Unfortunately, in some ways, it hasn't.
in all of these years.
We've got original maps dating back to the 1850s, also from New York. Like you said, newspapers. Here we go for people who are interested in this history. Kennedy slain by assassin. This is a 1963 Marietta Daily Journal. Discussing some fascinating history.
Like How much are you selling these
let's see. The newspapers are $4 for $1.
$4 for $1.
I mean, take a stack.
Yeah. I mean, and the books. I mean, lots of books. These are running. What are these running for here?
We've got paperbacks for $2 and hardbacks for $3.
Wow, and the pile. I tell you, I've been here since this morning. Got here just after it opened, and the pile has already gotten smaller of books and other items. Historic. Very historic organ here, huh?
Yes. Oh my gosh. This is an 1892 from Detroit, but it's a pump organ. So the pedals at the bottom, actually, you have to kind of push them and pump them to get the music going, to make the keys work. It's a stunning piece, and make us an offer. This is a stunning piece of history right here, especially for musical history aficionados out there. And we've got some beautiful jewelry on display as well on there, and I will throw some of that in to anybody that wants to buy the pump organ.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, upstairs is a museum. Some of these items, a lot of these items were donations, and a lot of these items.
Yes. Well, so what happened over our 30 years, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, and over 30 years, just like in your own homes and attics and garages, you accumulate stuff that maybe you didn't need. We accumulated things that did not meet our collections policy of strictly Cobb County and Marietta history. So a pump organ from Detroit doesn't really fit with our interpretive story here. It's an amazing piece, but we took it out of our collection, and the sale of all of that the items that come out of our collection go directly back into a designated fund to take care of the existing collection that we have.
Yeah, and it really is a great collection. I went up earlier today and took a look at the museum, and lots of amazing history there. And this is your chance to come get some of that history, or just get some books, get some other items, and also go take a look at the museum. It's here in downtown Marietta at the Marietta History Center. This goes on again through Saturday.
How fun, Chris. Thanks so much for taking us out live, showing us some of the goodies that they've got to offer, little bits of history, maybe some things we might want to take home. As we continue here at 2 o'clock coming up, talking about ways to de-stress, right? Life can be pretty stressful. One farm is taking a really cool approach to trying to get people to experience the outdoors more. What they're now offering coming up. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here live with us as you just took a live look over Midtown and downtown Atlanta. So let's get into it, because if you're looking for a way to spend some more time outside, maybe de-stress a little bit, Three Birds Farm is offering a membership for you to do just that. And they're offering this, we understand, for families, kids, and even adults. Eli Jordan joining us live from the farm in Marietta. Eli, looks pretty cool in the stables where you're at. Want to trade places?
No, I figured you might enjoy, seeing all the horses here. That's Cooper behind me, and right in front of me here is Lux, and that's Henry. And Ariel, what's a better way to spend your time? It's like they say, kids spend about 8 hours screen time, adults about 7 hours screen time. But if you're to go hang out with Cooper, who's right behind me there, hang out with him for 2 or 3 hours, that was so much more fulfilling than having your head in the screen and scrolling. And also, Dana Karen, owner of Three Birds Farm, agrees. And Dana, you have decided to start a program to help families get their faces out of the phone, correct?
Yes.
Tell me all about it. How did it come about?
Just an observation of the problem and trying to help parents come up with a solution. So our plan is to have people be able to disconnect at the gate, walk in, reconnect with themselves, with each other, with community, by loving on some animals, which are good for your health, by the way, just to be around them.
And so this started off as an equine farm, but you got 57 acres here, and this stretches way beyond the pasture. I mean, you got hardwoods, you got the pasture, you got petting zoo here. There's a lot to do for family, parents, kids to get out and get some dirt underneath their fingernails, right?
Yeah, and just the best thing I can do with my day is just take a nice walk down that half-mile long driveway. We call it our little country road. City Falls away. You hear the sounds of nature, nothing better.
And so you're telling me a story about kids were doing something, and they're like, "Hey, Mom, Dad, look," and they'd look over at their parents, and their faces were in the phone, not paying attention.
Yeah, as I've been teaching for over 20 years, when phones first came out, the camera was getting pointed at the kid. Social media came out, and parents didn't realize they were too distracted, missing all the good moments.
And the most important moments.
Most important moments. So.
Those kids will remember more than, kids will remember the parents not paying attention more than the parents will remember. And so, I mean, you got a lot to offer here, something, a lot of kids probably have never seen. You got the hardwoods, and plus you got these animals. And so you've done this for a couple of years. You've had day camps, correct?
We started our day camps. This is a new launch of our membership. It's not only for the kids with our after-school program in our camps, but adults and families. They can come as a family and visit the farm and hang out with the animals and have a picnic. Adults can come, and we have social walking clubs. We've got senior walking clubs where they can come exercise together, spend time with the animals, and connect with each other. Community is, difficult for us to create nowadays.
Yeah, we've almost forgotten how to speak to each other.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so we're opening that up.
And you offer after school programs. You don't have to worry about the kids, going home and just sitting in front of the TV or sitting on the couch on the phone.
Right.
They come over here.
Fighting them off their devices. They come over here, we'll help them with their homework. We'll take them out and let them be rowdy and play like we all got to grow up.
That's another thing I was wanting to get to, unstructured play, correct?
Yes, unstructured. We guide them, we give them options. They have some autonomy and decisions on what they want to do. And we just go and let them get.
And you got team building programs and activities and stuff, which is something that we're losing how to socialize face to face.
Exactly, and we try to pay attention to that. We try to help the kids with their social interactions and their friend making and conflict resolution and handling their emotions when things don't go their way. Just kind of being part of that community for the families.
And so when you come here, do people get fined if they're caught on a phone? Tell me, how's that work?
Just gently reminded, but who knows?
But yeah, it's hard to look at the phone when you got someone like Henry here hanging out. Henry's a good horse. Real quick, if anybody wants to get some more information about Three Birds Farm, where can they find that information?
Our website, threebirds.farm.
Threebirds.farm.
Yes.
And you're planning on having more after-school programs and holiday programs?
We've got all of our after-school programs. We had a camp coming up on Monday. as well.
This is really cool.
And we got some fall festivals and some other family events. We're doing parent night outs. Got some fun things coming up. So.
Threebirds.farm.
Yes.
Ariel, check it out, threebirds.farm, and maybe you can come down here and hang out with beautiful Henry here. He is part of this. He's a staple of the stable here, and he's a good horse. He's as playful and kind of goofy in a way, too. But I'll kick it back to you here from Three Birds Farm.
Eli, looks like a lot of fun. Love that they encourage kids to do their homework in the sunshine, come out, spend some time horsing around, if you will, while also getting done what they need to do. So thank you so much for introducing us to this membership. In the meantime, you guys, I'm Ariel Onstadt. We've got a lot of news still yet to come here at 3 o'clock. I'll be with you for the 3 o'clock hour where we still have more to get to. We have a list of charges that the suspect in the Warner Robins High School shooting is now facing. We're going to go through what those charges are, the name of the suspect who is now being tried as an adult. We're going to talk about all of that coming up. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Welcome into the 3 o'clock hour. We've got a lot of news to get to. If you are just now joining us here, I'd love to catch you up to date on what we are following. I want to let you know that the suspect in that shooting that unfolded at Warner Robins High School yesterday is appeared in court today, right around 1:53 this afternoon. And I'd like to go through some of the charges that this suspect is now facing. We're going to get to some video of that courtroom, and I'd like to take this full so you guys can watch what we watched unfold here around 1:53 this afternoon, because we have a lot of new details that we're getting. The suspect has been identified as 14-year-old Warner Robins High School freshman Denzel Willis Jr. He appeared before Superior Court Judge Catherine Lumsden this Thursday afternoon, and he learned the charges that he's officially now facing after this shooting that unfolded at Warner Robins yesterday. Police believe Willis Jr. shot another 9th grader in the leg after a fight in a school bathroom. The Fulton County Sheriff's Office says Willis Jr. was caught a little over an hour after the shooting, after he allegedly fled the school and hid in the Huntington Hills neighborhood. As a result, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office tells WGXA News that Willis Jr. is facing 5 different charges, including aggravated assault with a firearm, one count of disrupting public schools, 1 count of receiving stolen property, and then possession of a handgun by someone under 18, 1 count there, and then 1 count of possession of a gun in a school safety zone. District Attorney Eric Edwards has confirmed to WGXA that the 14-year-old suspect is being charged as an adult because of the nature of this case. Keep in mind, the victim in this situation was taken to the hospital where he was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Now, students at Warner Robins High School are not returning to the classroom until next Monday. Teachers will return to the classroom on Friday, but school will be closed this Thursday, and tomorrow, Friday. So we will keep you updated as that moves forward. In the meantime, let's talk about another scary situation that unfolded at a school here in Georgia, specifically Smyrna. We understand a middle schooler actually brought a weapon to Campbell Middle School and ultimately was arrested. Now, this happened just 7 days into the school year, and parents, as you might imagine, are wanting answers and greater safety efforts to make sure their kids are protected. District officials confirmed that staff and students acted according to their safety training, allowing school personnel to secure the situation immediately and take the student into custody. One parent, James Wilson, has said that tells us that an administrator called him around 4 o'clock Tuesday to report that a boy threatened his son and another classmate with that gun during 4th period. The parent tells us that the student told the children, quote, "I will shoot y'all, I will kill y'all." Take a listen to what else James Wilson shared with us.
He and his classmate were in class in their 4th period, and a boy had a gun and threatened to shoot both of them. And so I was dumbfounded at that point. I'm like, what? You know, I'm still trying to register. They should definitely look at the parent. I don't know how that child even had access to a gun to bring to school. And then we have to look at the school and the school system as well, because he had this gun on campus for well over 4 hours.
We'll continue to keep you updated as we get new information on this situation. The school district does say that a weapon was recovered from Campbell Middle School yesterday, and the Cobb County School District Police Department is actively investigating the circumstances surrounding the incident. They say the safety and well-being of their students and staff are their highest priority and are thanking law enforcement for their swift efforts. Let's talk about a story that's unfolding here this afternoon. Our Doug Evans has been digging into this one. We understand that a man has been arrested for a dog that was found tied up and put into a bag. Doug, what are you learning in this case?
Hey, Ariel, this is the sad tale of a dog named Boogie. That dog apparently was put into a trash bag, a black plastic trash bag, and discarded in the woods. Now, here's what happened. A young boy staying at the Red Carpet Inn just off Interstate 85 here in Coweta County told deputies that he saw 2 men putting a live dog inside a plastic bag and then putting that bag into a shopping cart and wheeling it away. He told the deputies that. Deputies responded and went out there, and they searched the woods for this plastic bag, and eventually they found it, and they found a dog still alive inside the bag. They also talked to one of the men responsible that they have charged, who said the dog was dead. So they put it in a plastic bag and took it out in the woods and had buried it. But apparently that was not the case. The young boy said the dog was alive, the dog was struggling to get out of the bag. And then when deputies found the bag in the woods, and kudos to them for searching, right? Going out in the woods, trudging down a dark wooded road and finding this bag, and then finding the dog inside, this dog named Boogie. I want to play some video for you. I just got this from the sheriff's office. I'm going to share it with you right now. It's super, super sad, you guys. This is when they opened up the bag. Hey, puppy, are you okay? And there's the dog. You can hear some of the deputies talking.
Yeah, he's wet from just sweat.
Yeah, hyperventilate means it and breathing all the humidity in there.
It's okay.
I don't have water. I got some water.
All right, so the deputies would eventually bring the dog water and call animal control here in Coweta County. And Ariel, 2 men have been arrested and charged with aggravated animal cruelty, also cruelty to children, because of the child who witnessed them putting them into the bag. Now here's the really, if that video is not sad enough, here's the really sad part, is that the dog died. The animal control took it to their office, made him comfortable, gave him food, water, made him a special bed, preparing to transfer him to an emergency vet, but then the dog passed away. So that's very sad. We understand now that the dog has been taken to Auburn University, and will be undergoing a necropsy to determine what the cause of death was, Ariel.
Doug, just a horrible situation. What a bummer. I am glad that police were able to find who they believe to be responsible. I know that that little boy also finding that poor animal, I mean, that's something that he's going to sit with for quite a while. So hopefully justice can be served. But Doug, in the meantime, just a really horrible situation. Thanks for letting us know what police are able to do, and we'll continue to stay tuned to you for the latest. Doug Evans reporting for us, you guys. I want to move on here because it looks like we have a news conference that has begun. If you have followed the Heather Turner case in Paulding County, she's a woman who was found dead, and there was some disagreement between the police, or rather the sheriff's office in Paulding County and the coroner's office as to the nature of her death. Let's take a listen to this update this afternoon.
As well.
I'm Ashley Webb with Channel 2. Why did you feel a coroner's inquest was necessary, and if the professional investigators and medical examiners already concluded it was a suicide?
It's a great question. You know, the sheriff's office and the medical examiner's office have fulfilled their responsibilities in this case, and I have an obligation to fulfill mine. So this is not about rejecting anyone's conclusion or determination. It's just about making sure I fulfill the responsibility of my office at this point.
I know that the jury is just going to be citizens. Mm-hmm. How do you think that they're going to take in the information versus somebody who's a professional who takes in this kind of evidence and information daily?
Well, you're giving this information as a whole to the jury. You're not giving pieces and portions of it. So, you know, we trust the jury process in other cases as well. So, you know, anytime a case does actually go to trial, you're trusting a jury to make a determination in that case. So it's set up the same way in a coroner's inquest. We're giving them all the information, we're giving them all the facts, and we're letting them decide.
And I know that you requested a coroner's inquest. Does it have to be approved by any agency or group, or can you just put it on the calendar?
No, actually, it's at the coroner's discretion if there's a coroner's inquest. And again, in my evaluation of this case, I determined that it was necessary in this case. Yes. Any other questions?
How long would an inquest like this take?
So,
they're all different, but
yeah, it depends on, you know, obviously this case is very complex. It's gone on for 9 years, so there is a lot of pieces of information to it. I have purposely blocked off, you know, a significant amount of time in January to where we make sure that we have the time to give that consideration to the jurors and allow them the time to deliberate as well, so we're not rushing this process. We're only going to do it one time. We want to do it right.
The sheriff's office, as they took in all the information and all the evidence, do you think that there was any evidence that was left out that led you to ask for a coroner?
You know, I can't critique another investigator or another agency's, you know, process. You know, that's not really under my purview, and that's not what this is about. We're just giving the information to the jury and allowing them to take this case and see what they determine is the manner of death. So.
The original coroner's report, has there been any changes to that?
There has not. No, absolutely not. No. I'll take one more question. Anybody got one? Okay. All right. Thank you all.
Okay, for those who are unfamiliar with the Heather Turner case, let's talk about it, because for more than 9 years, the death of Heather Turner has been one of Paulding County's most closely watched cases. There's been a lot of debate and public scrutiny as to the nature of her death. She was found dead from a gunshot wound inside her home on May 2017, and multiple investigations, extensive forensic reviews, and widespread public scrutiny have followed. In February 2026, so earlier this this year, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office concluded that Turner died by suicide, but the finding has been challenged by the county coroner, who ordered a rare coroner's inquest that could ultimately determine whether Turner's death is officially ruled a suicide, homicide, accident, or remains undetermined. Heather Turner was 35 years old, and ultimately we understand a civil jury is now going to be the one to review evidence and determine whether Turner's death is classified as what the nature of her death is: accident, suicide, undetermined, or homicide. So we will keep you updated as that moves forward. In the meantime, let's talk about something that unfolded this morning at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. We understand that Delta captain reported smoke inside the cockpit, and so that Delta flight was forced to return to the airport just minutes after takeoff. It was bound for South Florida. Take a listen to what air traffic control told first responders as they rushed to the plane.
Aircraft call sign is Delta 1334. It's an Airbus 321. Report of smoke in cockpit. Will be landing runway 27 right. 17,000 pounds of fuel. 181 souls on board.
Now, a Delta spokesperson confirms the plane landed without incident after crew members detected that smoky odor on board. A Delta spokesperson stated that flight crew members followed established procedures to ensure everyone on board stays safe. They've not confirmed the exact cause of this smoky odor inside the cockpit, and we understand the plane did taxi on its own power to the gate. As we continue here, I want to let you know that police in Atlanta are investigating a shooting in DeKalb County. So this happened on Park Lorraine, and I want to talk you through these two separate shootings that happened overnight, because now two homicide investigations are underway. One of these happened on North Harrison Road near Stone Mountain, and the other on Park Lorraine about 10 minutes away. Around 11:13 last night, a man was found shot multiple times inside a home at the Fontaine East condominiums. He died on the scene, and a neighbor who's lived there at the complex for less than a year says she thinks she heard gunshots and was shocked to see the scene outside her front door. Take a listen.
It's the first time I've ever seen something like this go down, like something like this happen. So, yeah, it's very unsettling.
Very unsettling, and investigators are examining evidence to figure out what happened before the shooting. No arrests have been made. In the meantime, over on Harrison Road, not long before the one shooting I just told you about, we understand a man was shot and killed in a parking lot on North Harrison. Now, this is not far from Stone Mountain. It's in the Stone Mountain area, and investigators are trying to figure out what led up to that. No arrests have been made. We will continue to keep you updated as we get any new information. Let's talk about the Fulton County Sheriff's Office and how they were very busy this morning as they worked to capture an inmate who escaped from the Fulton County Jail. We understand that law enforcement search has now come to an end after the inmate named Demetrius Brooks was captured early this morning just around 7:30 a.m. We saw that there were multiple officers in and around the entrance to the jail. Officers were searching with flashlights, as you can see from this video that our crews were able to get. And then officers later left the jail and headed toward downtown Atlanta, where authorities were seen searching the area of the Garnett MARTA station. Just before 7:30 a.m., the Fulton County Sheriff's Office confirmed they had located and apprehended the inmate. According to the Fulton County Jail records, Burks has an extensive criminal history, including theft and drug charges. So we will continue to keep you updated as that investigation moves forward. Let's talk about what is unfolding in Marietta, because you understand we have heard and reported a lot on many of your concerns and comments regarding a data center that is coming to Marietta. This is on a proposed 11 acres and has now been approved despite a moratorium that was in place or is in place. Let's talk about why. Because Marietta City Council members voted 5-2 to approve this 11-acre data center on Powers Ferry Place off of Delk Road. The move followed heated debate and protests outside City Hall over environmental impacts and potential utility bill increases. We've seen supporters counter that rejecting new technology harms the city's ability to grow, and council members question potential noise issues from the facility, prompting specialists to address those concerns before the vote. Opponents also voiced frustration with the developer, saying Prime Group Holdings in New York City does not care about our community here in the Marietta or Atlanta area. I'd like to let you take a listen to what people on both sides had to say during this meeting last night.
The impact they have on their surroundings are well documented, whether it's noise pollution, compromised water systems, toxic air, heat islands. We keep seeing more and more consequences wherever they're built. We refuse to accept this. The people who live and work here deserve a say in how our home grows and develops. And we do not want these data centers here. Members of the City Council were elected to represent us, not the billionaire owners of these data centers.
It's going to fund our schools. It's going to give more needed utilities to our schools, and it's going to allow our public safety and officers an increased response time. And so with that, I would say to the council, thank you for your time, and I'd ask you to continue the tradition of building the city that's got such a wonderful fabric of growth and community.
Keep in mind, city officials have not yet announced when construction on this 11-acre site will start. The city approved a 6-month moratorium on data centers last month, but that restriction does not apply to this project because developers submitted the application before the moratorium went into effect. So we will continue to keep you updated as that moves forward. I do want to let you guys know that as of right now, MARTA is working to choose their next CEO. Our Angelique Proctor's working on that story, and she's going to join us with the latest here later this evening. But I want to give you that update because MARTA has been weighing 3 different finalists for the position, and they are hoping to make a decision today. As we continue, let's talk about the latest regarding murders that unfolded at a daycare in Minnesota. We brought this to you as breaking news yesterday, and now police in Minnesota say a murder-suicide that unfolded at a in-home daycare in Hopkins, Minnesota, is now connected to another deadly stabbing in Burnsville, Minnesota. A 78-year-old woman was found stabbed to death inside that home in Burnsville, and police say the suspect's mother lived in that home and that the suspect had recently lived there as well. Police say that the victim was a close family relative of the suspect, and on Wednesday, the suspect, who is a 41-year-old man, killed a 41-year-old woman believed to be his wife and their 7-year-old daughter. He then shot and killed himself, according to police at that daycare. Children were at the daycare at the time of this violence. We understand 6 children were there, and they have since been reunited with their parents. Let's talk now about a nationwide hunt that is underway for a trio suspected of desecrating graves. You're taking a look at the 3 people on your screen who police would like to capture. They're accused of raiding mausoleums across Florida. What you just saw was surveillance video and photos of the suspects that officials are looking for. They say that this trio is from Indianapolis, and they're accused of stealing at least $35,000 worth of jewelry and family heirlooms from burial sites in several counties and cities in Florida, including Orange, Seminole, and Hillsborough counties, as well as the city of Winter Park. Investigators say they believe the suspects are also involved in burial thefts and several other states, and they're now searching for them and are asking the public's help in tracking them down. They believe there could be additional victims, and they have identified the suspects as Drake Malam, Porsche Bancroft, and Angela Garrett. So if they look familiar to you, you recognize these people, give police in Florida a call. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, we are going to be checking in on your weather forecast with meteorologist Lauren Robinson. It is incredibly hot outside, no way around that. So we're going to talk about how this is contributing to potentially some thunderstorms you might see, what's happening in our area straight ahead. Welcome in, everyone. I am Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being live with us. We've got meteorologist Lauren Robinson here. And I have to say, before we went to break, I said 2 o'clock because I am so used to hosting the 2. I am hosting the 3 as well this week, and yes. It is 3. 3:23 and 8 seconds to be exact. So you are farther ahead in your day than you think, but it is incredibly hot outside, Lauren.
Very hot. So hopefully, as long as your afternoon plans involve being inside or some sort of air conditioning, hopefully you're able to escape this heat because it's brutal out there. Now, you may be noticing a wide difference in temperatures in some areas, like 80 degrees right now in Noonan, but 94 in downtown Atlanta. Well, really, that's just a picture of where those storms have landed and where areas have been able to be dry. So the areas that have had those storms have been able to be cooled down a bit with that rain-cooled air, whereas the areas that have stayed a bit drier are hotter. So we're seeing those 94s in places like Atlanta and Rome, 93 down in Thomaston, but we're also seeing 80 in Noonan, and we're seeing 86 in Covington as well as up in Blairsville. So a couple different stories depending on where you are, but overall it's still very hot and humid. Once you factor in the humidity, it does still feel like triple digits across most of North Georgia. So if you're outside in downtown Atlanta, it feels like 102 degrees. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that if you're outside. It feels the same in Rome. It feels like 106 in Canton. If you were watching earlier this morning, Athens, Covington, Eaton, those areas, it felt like above the triple digits, but they've gotten some showers and storms, and that's allowed them to cool down just a bit. Now, as we take a look at our updated heat alerts, this now includes the majority of Georgia, excluding the high country up north, but it now includes downtown Atlanta and the majority of our viewing area. We're still looking for those heat indices upwards of around 108 degrees. Heat advisory in place until 8 o'clock this evening, and that means you want to continue to just be weather aware, be safe, act like it's June, even though it's the middle of August, because that's more of what these temperatures and this humidity is reading. So we're seeing those dew points in the middle 70s. It's extremely muggy. Not a couple of days where I would suggest going out for that long run or bike ride or even a long dog walk, because it is brutal out there, and it's just going to get worse as we move closer into the weekend. Now, outside of the heat and humidity, the other big story is going to be our scattered storms out there. We've been seeing some stronger storms across central portions of the state. Areas like Macon have been having several severe thunderstorm warnings so far this afternoon. But as we zoom into our area, we haven't had any severe thunderstorm warnings so far, knock on wood, in North Georgia, but we have gotten a few storms nonetheless. So let's pause this motion so I can take you through a little bit of a tour. It looks like one of our stronger areas that's going to be it looks like mostly Fayette County, and then heading just southeast toward Griffin. So this storm that is going to continue to move its way toward the southeast, it's likely near the airport, possibly causing a ground stop there. So that'd be something to look
that up.
But we do have some lightning, thunder, some heavy downpours. You'll notice this is very isolated, very localized here. And we're looking for another storm. This is going to be a line of storms pushing its way eastward of Putnam County. This is kind of bordering Putnam County all along Lake Oconee. Lake Oconee is not a place you want to be right now, as well as Lake Sinclair, because that is just getting dumped on with a lot of lightning and thunder. That's going to be a pretty loud storm there. Do we have a ground stop at
We do not right now.
Okay. Well, that's good, at least for any travelers. We have a couple smaller cells in Cleburne, Randolph County, off in Alabama there, as well as Troup and Meriwether counties getting a couple smaller storms. We look up north and we're just getting a couple raindrops here and there. Not a lot of lightning, not huge downpours north of the I-20 corridor. Looks like most of our action is along and south of I-20, with the strongest action being between Macon to Dublin. That's where we've been seeing those severe thunderstorm warnings continue to push their way toward the southeast. So that's what we're going to continue to watch for through the rest of the afternoon. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we have dealing with the next few days, where there we go. We move into tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to look a lot like what we're seeing today. That H kind of over in New Orleans, that's pushing in heat and moisture from the Gulf. So it's going to continue to be hot and humid, and that moisture is what's going to lead to a couple of those hit or miss storms that we're seeing. As we move into this weekend, though, that H gets a little bit further, and we start to see remnants of a front to our east along the Carolinas. We're right in the middle, so that means we're going to see some hit or miss weather. We're going to have partial influence from that high pressure, and and partial influence from that front, the piece of it that'll be near us. Then we clear out a little bit more going into our Sunday. So we will continue to look for all of those conditions through the weekend, but really the biggest story will be these temperatures. Middle 90s expected today, but upper 90s through the rest of the weekend into the beginning of the next work week. Hit or miss storm chances, so that is maybe a couple of them pop up and they're strong here or there, but the bigger story, because it's more widespread and will be more impactful to more people, it will be the heat and humidity. So remember, when you see those temperatures in the 90s, especially upper 90s, we're looking for heat index values near 110. It's going to be dangerously hot out there as we go through the weekend. I've been saying it feels like June, feels like July.
Yes,
it's not quite that. We're not quite in August yet. August. We're not quite in autumn yet.
No.
And the calendar, Mother Nature, Georgia, they're all making sure we know, hey, it's still summer technically.
It definitely is. Lauren, thanks for the update. I appreciate you. As we continue here at 3 o'clock, you guys, I want to continue with an earthquake that happened in San Francisco this morning. So let's talk about this. And while I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to call out our chat here on TikTok real quick. Marie Bella J, you're asking for updates on the Nolan Wells case and Lindsay Clancy trial. So hang with me, and I hope to get you an update before we go to break here. So let's continue with what we know regarding this earthquake. We understand it was a 3.8 magnitude earthquake that rattled the Bay Area. This happened along the Pacific Ring of Fire. If you want to know where that was located, it's a 25,000-mile belt of volcanoes and earthquake zones surrounding much of the Pacific Ocean, and that's where 90% of the world's earthquakes do occur. But we understand this 3.8 magnitude earthquake was reported 5 miles west-northwest of Oakland. No damage reported, which is a good news, and it struck near the Hayward Fault, which is one of the more active fault lines in the region. They believe the epicenter was about 3.2 miles below the surface, 2.5 miles south of San Leandro, California, but it sounds like shaking was felt in Oakland and San Francisco. In the meantime, speaking of earthquakes, let's get an update on the latest regarding this devastating earthquake in Colombia. The search for life continues, and this is one of the most powerful earthquakes Colombia has felt in some time. It's left behind mass destruction and registered 7.4 magnitude on the Richter scale. We understand numerous buildings have collapsed, and the death toll has reached at least 265 people. Hundreds more are still missing, and search teams are combing through the rubble to find any signs of life. Agencies consider the first 48 to 72 hours crucial, and now really we are towards the end of that. The country's president says that more than 25,800 families have been affected by this devastation. So we'll continue to keep you updated as this unfolds. I know a lot of you here in the Metro Atlanta area have family in Colombia, so we'll continue to stay tuned to the latest. Some of you are asking for an update on the Lindsay Clancy trial. I see here Marie Bella J in the chat, so let's get into what we know, because the trial against this Massachusetts woman who's accused of killing her 3 young children has now entered its 3rd week. Lindsay Clancy's defense team maintains she was suffering from a mental illness leading up to that incident, and details of her medical care are now coming into focus. We understand that she is facing charges of first-degree murder in the deaths of her 3 children back in 2023. She pled not guilty to the murder charges, and the defense claims she suffered from postpartum psychosis when she strangled her children, who were 5 years to 8 months old. Prosecutors argue the deaths were planned, saying Clancy convinced her now ex-husband Patrick to leave the house before killing the children and then jumping out a window, which paralyzed her from the waist down. The focus of the trial now turns to the medication Clancy was taking and the type of psychiatric care she received prior to the incident. The defense has pointed to several messages from Clancy asking her former nurse practitioner to change her medications after feeling depressive symptoms and having trouble sleeping. The Clancys have since sued several of Lindsay's caretakers over the quality of that care. She could face up to life in prison if she is convicted. And as it relates to Nolan Wells, I do want to let you know that calls continue to grow from transparency from Nolan Wells' family. And specifically, I do have an update here that I didn't have previously. We understand that at this point, the family and attorney, Ben Crump is the attorney that they have hired, a well-known name, and they've asked the FBI to get involved. They wrote a letter to U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche, as well as FBI Director Kash Patel, to ask for a federal review of Wells' Wells's death. At this point, there has been no official autopsy result, cause of death released, and they do not have a clear picture as to how Nolan Wells died. It's been more than a month since he traveled to Horn Island on the 4th of July. His parents, Christine and Elmore, are asking why his friends returned, but he did not come back with them, and his death is still under investigation by the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. So as we get new details, I will let you know right here as we continue to be live with you guys. Let's talk coming up next about a book sale in Marietta, book and rummage sale that's benefiting the History Center, as well as I want to get you an update on some national headlines we're following in our newsroom. Welcome back in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for being live with us here in the 3 o'clock hour. Let's talk about what we're learning regarding MARTA just now naming their new permanent CEO. They have selected interim CEO Jonathan Hunt to serve now as the permanent general manager and CEO of MARTA. Keep in mind that prior to joining MARTA, Jonathan served as assistant city attorney with the city of Atlanta. And while with the city, Jonathan represented, among other concerns, the Atlanta airport and practiced law here 6 years with other law firms. So he has a long history here in the Atlanta area and now will go on to serve as the CEO and general manager of our city's transit authority. So we will keep you updated regarding the latest details as that decision moves forward. But keep in mind, he has been serving in that interim capacity for quite some time. Let's get you out to Marietta, where if you're looking for something to do this weekend, maybe later this afternoon or tomorrow, you might go check out a book and rummage sale that's benefiting the Marietta History Center. Our Chris Rosenthal joins us live with some of the goodies they've got. Chris, what can you show us?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've been here basically all day, and showed up here early this morning, and people were already here. They were trying to get the best stuff, get the first pick of things, but there's still plenty of items left. You can see behind me plenty of books left, and lots of incredible historic items and donated items, and lots of really unique finds that you might not see anywhere else. So we got some old trains here. We have some some, these are kind of cool. These are some old matches, you know, in restaurants you used to get matches. Some of these are pretty historic old restaurants that if you're an Atlanta native you might remember. But I got Amy here. She is with the Marietta History Center, and talking about some of the things that we have here. So
yeah, I mean, some of these things are just your everyday items, but you know, some of them go way back. Like look at this vintage mixer. I mean, it's pretty cool just as, you know, it's standalone for any kitchen. But the matchbooks, yeah, these are a couple of, you know, Atlanta ones. Kaima. This is Lick Skillet Farm Restaurant in Roswell. This bag's got a kind of a mix of different items and places that a lot of people will remember from old Atlanta. But yeah, we've got a lot of cool things still here today. We still have the wall-mounted antique phone. You know, that's there. Set of antique chairs with leather seats right here, $5 each. I mean, you know,
yeah,
fantastic.
Furniture's been a really big draw here today, huh?
Yeah, it definitely has. And every year it's different. Every year you never know what you're going to get. Some years we have more militaria. Some years we have, you know, more archival. This year furniture's been a big thing.
Furniture's big, and lots of other historic items here as well, huh?
Yeah, look at this technology. I mean, we've got an old projector there. This is a microfilm reader. There might be some people out there that still have microfilm and they can't figure out how to read it. There you go. A lot of, you know, older technology. And then this stacks of collectible plates. These are mostly all Gone with the Wind. You got Ashley and Scarlett right there. And we've got one with, you know, Clark Gable as Rhett Butler.
What a handsome guy there. Yeah. Look at that. Wow.
Every one of these boxes is a different scene from that movie in particular, Gone with the Wind.
I mean, you could just come here and just go through them all and just have discover all the surprises, huh?
Oh, absolutely. It's just, you know, it's fun going through rummage, and all of the proceeds benefit the Marietta History Center. All of the money that goes back directly into the care of our collections, the historic preservation of the history of our community.
Absolutely. And you know, all of these books here, and tell me, you know, people want to come down here. Today was the first day of this, but how much more time people have to come?
Well, we're about to wrap it up here today at 4 o'clock, but tomorrow and Friday we'll be here from 10 to 4, and prices just get better. We are wheeling and dealing, you know, make us an offer kind of a deal. Prices just get better the closer we get to Saturday. And then also, if you come on Saturday, it is our free admission day, our monthly pop-in for Family Fun Day. We have free admission. We have community partners that come out. We have different activities and crafts for all ages, and it's just a fun day. So.
And free admission to the museum.
To the museum, yeah. This sale is always free admission. You're right. Thank you for clarifying. The museum itself is free admission on Saturday.
Absolutely. So you can come see the museum and then come to the sale, and you know, buy some items that may support the museum. And you know, I think Saturday is always that's time we really get good deals, huh?
Oh yeah, like with any rummage sale or yard sale out there, you know, we're already priced to sell with paperbacks at $2 and hardbacks at $3, but I bet those prices will slice in half at least when we get to Saturday.
And you know, real quick, this organ, we've been showing this. Hopefully somebody comes and gets this. I mean, this is a real piece of history. Some of these items are items that came from the museum itself, huh?
That's right. That's right. Some of the items we've collected over our 30 years of existence that didn't meet our collections policy of maintaining and preserving Cobb County and local history. This beautiful 1892 pump organ from Detroit is a prime example. It's a beautiful piece that, you know, back in the day you'd have to pump your feet to make music. It was an exercise as well, right?
Wow, yeah. I mean, an actual real piece of history here. And I mean, even toys, we got toy section. I mean, some of these dolls, these Barbie dolls we're looking at, some of these have already gone in the since I've been here this morning, but these are kind of a little piece of history and nostalgia for people, huh?
Oh, they are.
Yeah, I mean, there's Jello Barbie and
Jello Barbie with actual Jello still inside. So if anyone wants to try to make that, you know, that could be a fun experiment. Little Debbie dolls, yeah, a lot of the other ones. We had a Chuck E. Cheese one earlier that's gone.
Yeah, so you know, I mean, Ariel, if you want me to pick you up a few Barbies, you know, I'll just let me know. I'll put your order in. So.
Listen, Chris, some of those can go for a lot of money. Vintage Barbie dolls. I mean, listen, if you bring me one back, you may not see me here tomorrow, depending on how big a sale I can make. Let me tell you. But Chris, Thanks for showing us all the goodies at the Marietta History Center. Book and rummage sale happening now, and seems like a great way to get our eyes on some vintage goods if we've been wanting that. So Chris Rosenthal, thanks so much for joining us live as we continue here at 3 o'clock. Let's talk about some national headlines that we're following here in the newsroom. In case you haven't heard by now, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt will be stepping down from her role at the White House as White House Press Secretary, and we understand that she's leaving the administration with this big vacancy at pretty much a critical time. But then again, when would any time not be critical? She's set to leave at the end of the month, and she was just 27 years old when she took over one of the most visible podiums in the world. As press secretary, at her age, she marks the role as the United States youngest press secretary. So she said that her young family required a balancing act. She gave birth to her second child back in May and wrote on X, quote, "The truth is, since returning to the White House after the birth of my daughter, I have felt in my heart I cannot be the best mom to my two young children while devoting the constant time, energy, and attention required of the White House press secretary." She will go on to now still serve as an advisor to the president. President Trump has said, and there is no word yet on any successor for her role, but we, of course, will keep you updated as we get any confirmation as to who that might be. Let's talk about the debate that is heating up around these these shock gloves that ICE officers are reportedly going to be using. Federal immigration agents might have this new tool at their fingertips. ICE thinks this non-lethal device from a Kentucky company will be a valuable tool for officers to force unruly people to comply. They say this will keep officers and the public safe, but of course, opponents already have other opinions regarding this, and this debate is heating up. New York Attorney General Letitia James is sounding off on ICE's plan to buy these gloves. According to a notice published in a DHS database, ICE plans to spend up to $20 million on these special patrol gloves that would allow users to press a button to activate an electrical mode. The glove then must be applied directly to skin to produce a voltage that causes pain, intended to get compliance from people who are resisting. The manufacturer warns the devices should not be used against the elderly, small children, pregnant women, and severely handicapped peoples. But unlike tasers, these devices do not leave a burn or contact marks. New York officials are issuing a stern warning. Take a listen.
In the event that a New Yorker is injured as a result of these gloves, obviously there will be a private right of action as well as action from the state of New York. You can best be assured of that.
So the glove is, the latest thing they're looking at to help in situations. You've seen the videos in the past year and a half, the fights on the street where officers are overwhelmed.
So you got to hear from both New York Attorney General Letitia James as well as then Border Patrol leader Tom Homan. Keep in mind the Trump administration is stressing this force is non-lethal. They say that according to official data released by the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, the agency has tracked an approximate 1,400% increase in assaults targeting its officers. They say the gloves are already being used, but mostly by corrections officers in jails rather than on the streets. I also want to let you know that there is no progress in peace talks between the United States and Iran. The U.S. and Iran remain at an impasse over ending the war and opening the Strait of Hormuz. Despite this stalemate, tens of thousands of U.S. service members remain deployed to the Middle East. There are new concerning reports of deteriorating morale among troops. We understand that sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier are reportedly not in a good position. At a town hall with Navy leadership last week, some family members expressed concerns that the Lincoln's prolonged deployment is affecting sailors' mental health, and that there are even reports some sailors have tried to jump overboard. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal sent a letter to Pentagon leaders Wednesday highlighting the deteriorating mental health conditions, along with reports of supply shortages, water contamination, plumbing issues, and safety concerns. Some reports have said that the sailors have been out to sea over 250 days and have not been able to come to port to see family. With negotiations between the U.S. and Iran seemingly at a standstill, standstill. It's unlikely troops will be recalled from the Middle East anytime soon. Right now, both sides are claiming control over the Strait of Hormuz, and some military analysts believe it will take a return to combat to break Iran's grip on the critical waterway. In regards to the USS Lincoln, Arizona Democrat Ruben Gallego is calling for a bipartisan Senate delegation to visit the aircraft carrier and inspect the conditions for themselves. Let's talk about the latest regarding tariffs that the Trump administration has imposed upon Canadian imports, because at this point, there's still no deal to avert the billions of dollars in new tariffs that have been levied on Canadian imports. Americans could soon have a little more to spend thanks to tariff refunds that are now starting to trickle down to consumers. But the tariff war really is continuing, no end in sight, because we're just days away from these new import taxes hitting Canada. And this is America's second largest trading partner. Earlier this week, the U.S. offered a new proposal that would trim back some of the tariffs, but Canada rejected it. And now officials there are suggesting if a deal isn't made by the deadline, they'll pivot to other markets. Mark Carney, Prime Minister in Canada, says that everyone wants to do more with Canada except the United States. He says they're on track to have free trade access to 3 billion consumers. Meanwhile, here in the United States, big shipping companies like FedEx and UPS have gotten more than $100 billion in tariff refunds from the Treasury Department, and now they're starting to pay that money back to consumers who were originally charged many times after their product was already shipped, though most big shippers say the amounts are relatively small so far. And with less than 3 months to go to the midterm elections, the White House is doubling down on its tariff policy. Democrats are vowing to oppose it. The new tariffs on Canadian imports do go into effect August 19th, affecting more than $20 billion worth of goods from Canada. As we continue here at 3 o'clock, you guys, I want to get a check a little closer to home at Three Birds Farm in Marietta, where they're offering a new membership to allow adults, families, and kids more time to connect with nature, more time on the farm, and just a way to de-stress from life. We're going to talk about it coming up. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. If you've ever wanted to spend more time on the farm, but maybe you don't have a farm, maybe you don't live close to one, don't know where one is that you could visit, a farm in Marietta is now offering memberships for you to be able to spend some extended time. And our Eli Jordan went to go check out Three Birds Farm. Eli, looks like a peaceful stables that you're in this afternoon.
Oh, it's very peaceful, and actually, we got a nice little breeze coming through here. And Three Birds Farm started off as an equine riding school and all that, but Dana Karen, she the owner, she saw that a lot of parents were not paying attention to their kids, and they had their heads in the phone, and she realized that kids were also doing the same thing. And she's got 57 acres out here and said, why not I put this land to good use and give people a tactile experience without the phone. And real quick, I want to show you what we're dealing with here. Now this is James Taylor, and this is Johnny Cash. And they're really cool goats, and I would much rather hang out with them than be scrolling through a bunch of Instagram crap and stuff. These guys are much more interesting than the Instagram feed. Yes, you are. And Dana Karen is here with me. Hey, Dana, how you doing?
Hi, good.
And so tell me, I mean, how long you guys been doing this, and why are you doing it?
We started 2 years ago with our summer camp program. Just wanting to give kids the same kind of childhood I got to grow up in. We can just go outside and play. You're not sitting in front of the TV. You're sweating. You're getting dirty. Playing,
hanging out with friends.
Hanging out with friends, building those relationships, using your imagination.
Yes.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, what all do you offer? We got the pets here that we can hang out with, and the groom, help brush and groom and all that.
So the kids participate in the petting zoo. They learn some team building and management and leadership skills doing that. They play in our woods, building forts, playing on our little zip line and ninja course, and then they love to play in the creek. They literally go swimming in our creek.
And see, that's just it. I mean, I grew up hanging out in the creek and all that. You don't ever hear these stories anymore of kids hanging out in the creek. But you got that here, and kids can come here. Parents can, you pick them up from school, and parents can be, still doing their work thing, and they're assured that these kids don't have a phone in their hand, right?
They don't have a phone in their hand. They've got people paying attention. We're trying to be part of the family's tribe.
And then also, too, I mean, adults are welcome, too, to put the phone down and come out, right?
Yes, encouraged. Come walk our country road half a mile long and, unwind, disconnect.
So you got memberships. People can join in. And so where would they go to find out more about the memberships and what all you guys have to offer?
It's all on our website. That's at threebirds.farm.
Threebirds.farm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what all, I mean, do you got a holiday membership? Tell me about,
We have a fall festival coming up. We also do parent night outs. There's all kinds of other classes, and we've got Little Farmers Club is our preschool program. All of our programs are centered around getting kids active and in nature, and then creating some social connection.
And it's we were discussing earlier, kids are on the screen time estimated about 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And we're just now discovering how detrimental screen time can be for a developing brain.
We really are. And the parents know. They
basics.
know it's a problem, and they're battling it at home. And we're just hoping we can come alongside and help create that space where their child starts wanting to do other things instead of...
And with your 57 acres here, I mean, you got not only the pasture land, you got the hardwood lands. Kids can get lost in the woods and hang out there, or just come out to the pastures, hang out with the pigs, the goats, the horses, and the ducks, the chickens. And that'll help shape brains so much better.
So much better.
And also, too, hanging out with friends, better socializing.
Exactly. Making friends. Yep, definitely.
Getting back to the basics, yeah. And so tell me the website one more time.
Threebirds.farm.
Threebirds.farm, and then I guess we can find out all the different programs there, right?
Yes,
And get your phone number and call up. Awesome. Well, Dana, Karen, thank you so much. And we're going to hang out here with Johnny Cash and John Taylor here. And he's seen the Ring of Fire, and he's seen fire, and he's seen rain. And, you can come down here and hang out with
they're so cute.
here. And they're really cool. Yeah, they are cute. And I might have to bring them back up to the station, possibly. I don't think Dana will let me do that, but they'd be fun to hang out with. But yeah, threebirds.farm. If you want more information about this program to, encourage, put your phone down and get in touch with nature and hang out with little guys like this and
very
be more fulfilled
cute
in your life with activities that you do.
Thanks, Eli. Yeah, these are really cute animals. Great way to spend an afternoon or maybe a weekend. Eli, Jordan, thanks so much. Guys, really quickly here before we go, I'm going to let you know that you can watch the Falcons preseason games on Fox 5 and the Fox Local app on your smartphone or your connected TV. Tomorrow night, the Atlanta Falcons are playing the Denver Broncos in their first preseason game. This is going to be at 7 p.m. at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That game is right here on, it's on Fox 5, and then you can watch it here on the Fox Local app. So I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being live with us in the 3 o'clock hour. We have more news about to start.
Fox 5 News at 4 starts right now.
We are learning new information about the young suspect in the Warner Robins High School shooting. We're going inside the courtroom and have learned more about the moments leading up to the gunfire. And state lawmakers